Okay, well, I guess we probably should start off where we left off on Monday.
I
Um, I want to
I
mention
wonder why, Mr. Jarrett.
now. I wanted to preface this by saying I have zero ideas what happened. Seriously, like all of a sudden,
Yeah.
I'm talking, and the next thing you know, the internet just dies and didn't turn on until the next morning. Like I lost it for like several hours.
For
Luckily, I
for
was sleeping.
for a minute, I was concerned that Alberto had trashed your place. I could, and
And
because I never got anything from you, I was like, is everything okay? I mean, from what I can tell, the internet went off at midnight,
yes,
probably, or in around that time.
pretty much.
So yeah, we're in the middle of. You just to set the scene. You saw
Yep,
them Sunday afternoon,
you're correct. Saturday afternoon.
Saturday afternoon, right? So this is the day before this alleged incidents happened.
Yeah. Um, So, like I said, I don't remember exactly how much I went to this. I work a lot, so I'm kind of days are running together. The only reason I know what day it is tonight is so I know we have a show. Um, so they were just hanging out the side in one of the areas of the park, and they were just eating. And I didn't want to bother or anything. I want to be respectful, so I just kind of waved. And Alberto called me over, and I talked with him for a few minutes. And it's funny because I told I told Paige, I was like, you need to take Alberto to Halloween Horror Nights. And they talked about that for a couple seconds. And then we pretty much went our separate ways. They stayed there eating. I left and went into the park. So I had heard all over the internet what had apparently happened or not happened, or I don't know anymore, to be honest, on Sunday at my airport, actually. The airport in my hometown. So it was really interesting that there was, of course, the purveyor of wrestling journalism, TMZ, were there.
TMZ.
Yep, of course, because they break everything. Um, and they had audio, and one of the things I got from this audio was it's somewhat tied into what Paige was saying on Twitter, but something wasn't necessarily stirring the Kool-Aid. And I don't know exactly what to believe happened. I do love the fact, if you listen to that audio, the person in question was like, you need to get away from her. Oh, by the way, I'm a really big fan.
Yeah, that good old shit.
That's like, it's Violent J did a book, an ICP book called Behind the Paint, and I really recommend it. It's really good. Especially from someone that definitely is not an author. It's just somebody just telling a story. And it's a very interesting story how the Insane Clown Posse came to be. Whether you're a fan or not, it's a really good book. AJ has even read it, so that should tell you something right there. Well, Violent J mentioned a story about a concert where he had gotten arrested on stage for lewd behavior. And at the police station, there were people that were in face paint that were actually testifying against him and being eyewitnesses to what happened. So it's kind of the same concept. It's kind of like, so you want to get your 15 minutes of fame by filming this and completely getting in someone else's personal space, which of course Paige has been talking about like crazy on Twitter lately. And furthermore saying, oh, by the way, stay away from her, but still, I'm a fan. So it's just, I mean, it's just, it looks horrible in every way of the word. I don't know if you agree with me on that, Ashley, but it seems really just dumb.
The thing you can't tell is whether it's different people or whether it's the same person.
Right. And apparently, Pages came out on Twitter and has listed an actual retelling of what happened, her words, because obviously there's three sides of the story. There's one side, there's the other side, and there's the truth, and they're not always going to be the same.
To be honest, I think there's a fourth one.
There could be.
There's more than three this time. This has become a very I'm trying to think of the words. A very intricate detail as to a very complicated situation.
Yeah, and I mean, apparently, what happened? There's battery charges right now. Alberto's been suspended from GFW for indefinitely, and pending the investigation. And apparently, GFW is going into their own investigation on the matter itself to tie into what's been going on. And once everything has been worked out, then there will be a chance for Alberto to return to the ring. But here's the thing. He's the GFW World Heavyweight Champion, and we don't have any more tapings until the 17th of August for Destination X.
Mm-hmm.
So, hypothetically speaking, everything could be resolved in a month. Not necessarily sure it will be, but it could be. Yeah, apparently this got even worse. There's issues with apparently Paige's uncle is deathly ill right now.
Well, shall I dig into that? Because
please do. Please go into that as well.
I'll get into that rather than mention it later. Because I didn't think we were going to go full on to this, but I guess it makes sense to just get it all out of the way. Because it probably, the thing is, I say it's the biggest story of the week, but this is the same week in which somebody won a title on a house show, somebody got released.
And all of this involves Impact in one way or another.
Sort of, yeah.
Yes.
So, buddy, I think it was. Oh, I'm trying to think. I think it was before the weekend. Alberto went on Instagram and challenged Triple H and people who were involved in the rap battle segment to a fight. He said, Tuesday next week, a bunch of pussies will be there in San Antonio. The man with the big nose and no balls, but also the pussies from the rap battle will be too. Also with no balls, like their boss. Oh, yes, man. I'll be in my restaurant starting at 10 p.m. I'll be waiting for you there. And he says that he said that he'd buy them a drink when he beats the shit out of them. Which I'm guessing is obviously because of the rated R, like your boy Xavier Wood line.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that wasn't a great start, because if you think about it, that could have antagonized the shit.
Yeah, and didn't the fighting group that Alberto fights for, didn't they get involved basically saying they got his back too?
Let me go. That's in the MMA news. I completely forgot. Campbell McLaren of Combat Americas declined to comment until more information's available. They haven't supported him, but they won't make any statement until, it's basically been dealt with by the authorities. The complicated bit is when we get to the night.
Yeah, this is when it gets interesting.
So Zach and Roy, who I think are the London Riots, or one of them is. I can't remember off the top of my head. I should know more. But they've been posting about Alberto. So Zach wrote, I've got to say I'm worried about my sister. Please keep an eye on her. She had one prick known as Brad Maddox who took advantage of an 18-year-old girl, physically and mentally abused her. And now she's with a control freak who thinks he's a tough guy because he beats my sister and has money to cover his tracks. I love my sister. She'll end up like Whitney Houston or Amy Winehouse. Please share this. I want the world to know that I care about my little sister. Everyone keep an eye on her. You'll be angry at me, but I love you. I'm writing this on behalf of all the family. Roy, then in a separate statement saying, said, "We got pics from the last 6 months, bro, of her beating. I'm glad she's finally sticking up for herself. The reason they're fighting yesterday is because my uncle on his last legs in hospital, and he wished him dead." And then he either made private or deleted a post that alleged that Alberto was trying to get Paige fired from WWE and wouldn't let her go back. And then on top of that, I can't remember. I don't think it was one of the Bevises. I can't remember. But somebody said that they have seen prominent bruises on Paige's body over the last few months. And you know what also didn't help this shit? Josh fucking Matthews.
I didn't know about this.
So, because I might as well mention it here because he's a stupid cunt for doing this. Monsieur Matthews decided to say, "Oh, by the way, Paige was at ringside at Slammiversary when Alberto won the title."
I mean, everyone knew that, though.
Yeah, but
it's freaking obvious. That picture.
No, but then is that ammunition for her getting released from WWE against her wishes?
As long as Dwayne's movie's still going down, they're not going to do anything.
True, but is she going to be alive? But I don't want to say that, but it's getting to a point that this might be getting to a situation where, I mean, I'm not going to say Chris Benoit. I'm trying to think.
Chris Brown.
What was the name of the British guy?
No,
I mean, again, that was murdered, the Jim Breaks one. But I think it's going to get to a point that if it doesn't end in death, somebody's going to be seriously hurt. And the scary thing is, I don't know which one, because I know Paige can be vicious.
As much as I hate to say it, and this is not a reference I want to make, but it's eerily reminiscent of it. It's kind of reminded me of what happened with Phil Hartman and his wife, Brynn.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very reminiscent of that. And that's what worries me.
No, I see what you mean there, definitely.
But I made the reference on Monday, and I think the best way you could describe it at this moment is probably Chris Brown and Rihanna.
Yeah.
Now, I was trying to defend a little bit on Monday, like I was saying before I got cut off. But we're reflecting on what has happened in the previous time since we've done our show on Monday. In the last couple of days, so much has come out that it's really hard to defend anything here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to try to defend anything. I mean, I will say that both Paige and Alberto were extremely nice. And they were very welcoming to somebody saying hello. But you could, I mean, if things happen the day after that, I mean, it's anyone's guess exactly how toxic this truly is.
I mean, and the thing is, I don't know whether I feel glad for or sorry for Global Force.
Well, and another
after all
thing,
the shit that they've been through in a previous name,
right?
And already they're starting off as if it's LOL GFW rather than LOL TNA.
Well, I mean, it's nothing they can do about it. This isn't something they have any control over.
Yeah, but keep in mind, there were rumors of this relationship being fractious anyway for the past couple of months.
And the issue about it is it's just like the Chris Brown and Rihanna situation. If even back in the day, Rihanna would be the first one to defend Chris Brown, regardless what he did. So, and that's the type of behavior we're getting here. I mean, there's a lot of apologetic statements from Paige right now, and it's either and she's basically telling people to leave them alone, Well, I mean, if someone doesn't intervene, bad things could potentially happen, and we don't know what's going to happen between now and then.
I mean, let's see what happens. I hope it gets resolved in some shape or form.
I would hope. I mean, obviously, this is very unlikely, as much as I hate to say it. But what Paige said on Twitter about this all being her fault, and she was the reason that the battery was going to be against her, not him, and you say crazy things when you're mad at people, which everybody says crazy things that they definitely don't mean when they're upset with someone that bad. And sometimes things like get really out of hand, and let's just hope, honestly, that this is exactly that situation. That this isn't. I mean, Alberto is not Chris Brown here, and I don't. Hopefully, he's not. But I mean, if Paige is telling the truth, which she could be, or she could be just trying to defend him, so nobody is none the wiser. I mean, it's anyone's guess what's actually true and what's not at this point.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, it's best if we just let it be. We've obviously expressed our concerns and everything, and
yeah,
let's just hope that it all gets resolved in a amicable, friendly way, rather than going negative. If that's even the right way to say it.
I mean, I wish both of them the best to get good with themselves, get right with themselves, and hopefully things improve sooner rather than later.
If it's better that they're apart, perhaps,
right,
that might be the best thing. We'll see.
We'll see what happens. I mean, hate to start off the show in such a downer, but I mean, we really need to discuss that because we got caught off on Monday, so I kind of really wanted to make sure that.
And also because it's overshadowed really today, because obviously they had the idea is that Jeff Jarrett's press conference was going to be about what GFW's doing after Slammiversary and what the run-up is for their future plans. And pretty much, I mean, I haven't heard the full hour or so of the actual details of the conference call, but I know it was brought up more than once.
Right.
Quite a few times. Jarrett opened it himself, I think, saying something about it. And then there was 2 or 3 questions, despite the fact they said no questions. But I guess they did it in such a way that it was relevant to the stuff that they were willing to answer them and everything. But the other stuff that came out of that is apparently Anthem still does own the Hardy stuff.
Yeah, we'll see what goes with that, to be honest.
Yeah. But there you go.
So, let's do this properly. Welcome to another edition of the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast, exclusively here on the Popcast Network. My name is Owen. This is Ashley.
I mean, we don't want to put it on a downer like that, but as I said before, this has been a ridiculous week for news.
I agree, 100%.
And it's not even going to be in Dave's news because it's all going to be in the newsletter that's getting published by the time we're probably finished.
Yep.
So,
kind of an issue there, but it's okay. We'll get what we can done tonight.
That's next week. There doesn't seem to be as many shows happening next week. So, we compensate that way.
Exactly. So, we've got Smackdown and 205 Live. We got GFW with the Impact showings from last week. We have Lucha Underground from tonight. What Culture Pro Wrestling, UFC news going on. Obviously, the build has begun for could be one of the fights of the century. For better or worse, it's going to be an epic battle.
Oh, I know what you mean. Omega versus Okada.
Of course. UFC, NXT, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and all the news and rumors from the wrestling world, including tonight's NXT spoilers, which are currently going down the road for me in Full Sail.
What?
So.
They're doing more tapings?
Yep.
God damn it.
Tomorrow's the Mae Young Classic.
It's as if Quentin Tarantino is making a Charles Manson movie.
Oh, yes, he is, and I cannot wait.
So,
someone cast Diego Luna, please.
So we'll start with Down Smack.
Sounds good.
So they recap the Battle Royal from last week, and then, of course, the snippets that they've got, even though the full match is on YouTube, filmed by some fan, I guess, of AJ beating Owens for the US title. So AJ makes out and says, well, looks like Battleground came early. You know, I wouldn't say that I'm the face of America, but I think I'm an upgrade from Kevin. But, you know, it's not about either me or him. It's about this title and what it represents. It wasn't a long time ago that a US champ wanted to prove he's the best, and he called it the US Open Challenge. So, you know what? The US Open Challenge is back. So he's waiting, and Cena's music hits. And AJ's, you know, John's like, you do realize what you said, you know, it's open challenge. And, you know, is it like last time when it's like anybody but me? And AJ's like, nope, it's for you. And hell, it's even especially for you. And John says, all right, let's have a match. So they're about to get underway. And then Kevin comes out and says, nobody wants to see another stupid AJ versus Cena match. We've already had to sit through too many of them. The only thing people should care about is the rightful owner of that belt getting it back, and that's me. You know, and Cena, why the hell are you back? Nobody misses you. We don't need you here. You don't need to be anywhere near my title. Just get out. And John's like, it's not that you don't want to see me, it's that you can't see me. You know, you're just like everybody else, Kevin, that runs their mouth and wants me to leave. I told the Michelin Man to get in the ring and try to, you know, calls him the Michelin Man. Because he's chunky, you see. You know, and then Rusev attacks Cena. And that becomes nothing. Spoilers, tag match coming up as the main event. So then we get Taya Dillinger versus Jinder Mahal. Oh, fuck, we're burying him already.
Battle of Canada.
Yeah, but we're burying him already because, yeah, Jinder won with the Cobra Clutch Slam.
Of course he did.
The 10 is over, everybody. He's going to be going to Jobber City. That's probably because they haven't used him in weeks and people forgot that he was on the roster. Holy fuck, you idiots. So afterwards, Jinder gets the mic and, you know, I tell you the truth last week and you just disrespect me. You boo me all you want, as the modern day Maharaja brings dignity and class to this company. You still cheer for Orton? You want to threaten my people and my family? Chanting USA, USA doesn't change the fact that 1.3 billion people of the great nation of India know that Jinder is the greatest champ of all time. I'm pretty sure 1.3 billion people don't watch WWE. I would argue. And you want life a living hell? Because I'll bring hell to you, Randy, because next week I'm bringing the Punjabi prison. So I'm guessing he's getting it out the warehouse then? Technically?
Works for me.
That's all I can think of. It's as if he personally owns it. He must have bought it at some sort of flea market for $2. I hope it's in good condition. So now it's time for Xavier Woods versus Jey Uso. Not too bad a match, really. Woods actually getting the win. Basically, it's an enziguri on the apron. Jay hangs on the middle rope, and Woods gives him an elbow drop, and Xavier wins. And then we go backstage. Shane's on the phone with Daniel Bryan and says that no one's asking about Ellsworth. So then Naomi comes in and says, I want to know who I'm defending this title against, and it better not be Lana. So then Charlotte comes in. Then Becky comes in, and it's like, geez. And then amazingly, Shane's like, well, I'm glad you called here for a meeting. Like, really? When was that addressed? And Shane says, Battleground is going to be a 5-way elimination match to determine who faces Naomi. And Charlotte's like, well, this is the land of opportunity, not the land of make-believe. And Tamina says, watch your mouth. And Natalia wonders why Charlotte's got to worry, considering she's done everything on her family's coat holes. And then Becky went, oh, well, Brett, sorry, Natalia, you're one to talk. So Shane sets up Becky and Charlotte versus Natalia and Tamina for later on. Then Carmella comes in with a petition from her attorney to have Ellsworth reinstated. And Shane rips up the petition. So I guess that didn't work. So then Baron Corbin's interviewed about basically last week's beatdown of Nakamura, and Renee says, well, Nakamura isn't afraid of you, and Baron says he's afraid of, I'm afraid of what I'm going to do to him. I'm Mr. Money in the Bank. Shinsuke isn't, and tonight it'll be sayonara, Nakamura. Go back to Dragon Gate.
Of course.
So Corbin makes his way out. Nakamura attacks him. They brawl and brawl and brawl, and Fit Finlay and Jamie Noble manage to separate them. And that's it. There is no match. Great job. So then AJ's in the locker room, and Cena says, I'll accept the challenge. Cena's like, look, you took something from me, and I'll hold on for the title for a long time because I'm the best. It's obvious that you want to be the best. So I've got you back tonight. I'm giving you my word. And then he turns heel. Nah. So then we go split screen for this match. So they actually give the women more time than anything. Sadly, it's Natalia and Tamina versus Charlotte and Becky. And one of these things is not like the other things. One of these things is Samoan, therefore it's unreliable. Unless its name is actually Joe. But whatever. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was serviceable. The finish came with Lana showing up, getting on the apron as Charlotte hits an exploder. Tamina then makes the tag eventually on Natalia. Stays on the apron, and Charlotte goes for the figure four. Tamina super kicks her, and the heels win. So then we get Maria walking in the back and knocks on a door and asks if Sami Zayn's in there. And Chad Gable says he ain't here. And Maria says, well, make sure you tell Sami that the First Lady of WWE is looking for her. So then we're back after commercial, and Mike and Maria are getting romantic with each other, and Sami's waiting to talk. And Maria wants an apology. And Sammy said, look, I've apologized twice. I don't know why I have to go apologize again, because every time I go to the ring for a match, you're in my way. And he says, well, what are you doing around here, Mike? And then asks if Mike's the lover and Maria's the fighter. And Maria slaps him, sorry. And Mike hits him with a vase of flowers. And Maria goes, well, that's proof that love hurts. So then we get to the fashion files. Except, I think this time it's being referred to something like Run Ray Walker's Texas Rangers. I think. So yeah, it's getting that crazy. So they're riding in the back on bloody wooden horses. What do they call them?
Wooden horses.
The wooden, but with a stick. They got like a hobby horse.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Fandango tells Breeze to lasso the Hype Bros. And Tyler's like, oh, it'll be like Wonder Woman. Like, okay, good touch. And Fandango asks Zach about his haircut and his suit and tries to distract Zach to get Breeze to lasso him, but the rope's caught on him. And Zach asks Tyler, do you wear a bra when you go undercover? So Mojo comes in and Fandango basically wants to know where Mojo was when Tyler was attacked when Zach returned. And Mojo says, we were talking to Shane and Daniel Bryan about getting a title match. We don't do anything shady. And Zach says, well, I think it was a bit shady when you eliminated me. And Mojo's like, you need to focus, man. And we all need to get back to reality. So, you know, everybody should. And it's like, Fandango's horse is missing. And it's got to be ghosts. Or aliens. Or was it ghost aliens? So I've got a feeling we're going to be doing something Roswell related. Because I can't remember where next week's Smackdown is. Quick, let's go to the tape to make sure. That's September. What are you telling me about that for, you bastards? Where is it? Tuesday. Birmingham, Alabama. What's that got to do with aliens or ghosts?
Nothing really.
Or ghost aliens. So then we get a pretty good tag match, as you'd expect, because it's Owens and Rusev versus Cena and AJ. Probably some of the best wrestlers they've got on the roster right now on both brands. And it's the team that was at each other's throats in January being perfect buddies come August. Because Styles hits a forearm to Rusev, followed by Pele kick to Owens, and then Cena follows it up with an attitude adjustment on Kevin. And the faces win, all happy and everything, and Cena raises Styles' hand and all that, and there you go. That's SmackDown. As we move closer to the ground of battling. So then we get to 205 Live. So we starts off with Cesaro on the phone with Titus. And basically, it's like, well, you pinned him last night. It's only fair that you get a rematch. And then Daivari comes in and complains about begging for a rematch. Daivari hangs up on Titus and says, I've arranged a match for us tonight. Wrestling is a martial art of Iran. Many have become national heroes for the techniques. They didn't have to worry about low blows and questionable tactics. Have you got any honor? And Tozawa goes, don't question my honor. So I did wrestle for them at once, I think. In a ring of honor. So yeah, we're getting into that match. And so honorable is this match that Neville attacks him on the apron when he randomly comes out. So DQ win for Tozawa. And afterwards he throws Tozawa into the ringside barrier, kicks him, and runs Tozawa head first into the barrier, and Tozawa was thrown in the ring. Neville goes up top, kicks Tozawa in the hand, and puts the rings of Saturn on. So yeah, I think they're really trying to push Tozawa as actually winning this time.
Well, considering the fact there's almost nobody left, that's kind of the only option left.
So then they recap Gulak failing to beat Ali when he tried to go high. And Gulak's got a message for his family and the WWE Universe at Electon. He says that he had an indiscretion. I climbed to the top to check out my surroundings, but regrettably dove off like a show-off. I apologize for lowering my standards and evens their feud at 2 falls apiece. So I suggest, Mr. Ali, that we face each other in a 2 out of 3 falls match to prove which style is the best. I approve of all this. So then bloody Vic is asking Corey about Kurt. And Corey's like, well, let's get to TJ Perkins and Rich Swann. So it's Rich Swann taking on Mario Connors. Jobber alert. Swann wins in a quick number of minutes with the Phoenix Splash. But then afterwards, Perkins says, Perkins asks Swann, you happy with your performance? A win's a win, but I thought you'd have done more since you beat me last week. And if it were me, you'd have beaten this guy in half the time. TJ goes, oh, that's it. Mario Connors, your night isn't over. You gave Rich some good competition, but you get a second chance. You get to face the first Cruiserweight champ 1-on-1. And then TJ asks for the time of Swann's match to be put on the Tron and says, I'll beat Connors in less time. Maybe I'm tougher than you look, or Swann's got to bring up his game. So unofficially, beat the clock challenge. And it's pretty heavily beaten because Perkins kicks at the bad leg, goes for a knee bar. Connors goes for an inside cradle, but kicks out. Or TJ kicks out. And then Perkins with a detonation kick, and Perkins wins. Comfortably within the time. So now we've got Brian Kendrick as Jack Gallagher making his way to the ring. And asks, is my suit funny? Does my mustache make you laugh? You think Jack's funny and you laugh when he does his Chaplin strut. I have to hear the commentators describing him as unconventional and unorthodox. He's neither. He's a clown. He's a fraud. He's a third-weight William Regal, and he's tired of it. I'm sorry, I'm tired of it. You laugh along with him, you encourage his foolish antics. There's only one person that's not laughing. I am a man who's had to work hard to earn everything in my life. I've sacrificed friends and family, and I've had to gamble on myself to try and get back here. What's Jack done? He's not put in one day of hard work, doesn't have to build the sweat equity because you want a good laugh. Instead of cheering for a blue-collar man who's earned everything, you cheer for a clown. So Jack comes out and says, apologies for the interruption, sir. If you think I'm a clown, and you're questioning my ethics. I've been fighting since I've been 16. I know this is a privilege and not a right. You wasted your first chance, Kendrick, as a passive-aggressive git. You like to dress up, but I like to fight. I don't mind fighting for anybody who's a bit different. I'm not a third-rate William Regal. I'm a first-rate Jack Gallagher. I can walk the way I want or talk the way I want because I can back it up. And if you want to question my devotion to the fans again, I'll knock your block off. And Gallagher gets some good stuff in, headbutt and stuff. But then Kendrick shows up, hits Gallagher with the umbrella quite a number of times, and the officials break him up. And then we get to the I Quit match between Dar and Alexander, which was a pretty good match. And so the finish comes with basically Alexander putting the chair over Dar's arm, and Alexander says, "You better quit," and stomps on it. "You better quit," stomps on it. Dar still refusing and says, "Look, this is your last chance." And Dar slaps him, but he stomps on it again, keeps stomping away and stomping away and stomping away, and Dar just says, "I quit." And Cedric leaves. And Alicia's concerned and a little disappointed in her man. And Dar goes, "Yeah, I quit. I quit, Cedric. And I quit you too, Alicia. Now, were you actually really into me? You really must be as stupid as you look. You signed your WWE contract at the age of 22. 1 year later, at the age of 23, I'm the youngest member of the 205 Live roster. I'm the youngest member of the Raw roster. I'm an athlete training all over the world. Do you think I wouldn't have a woman in every continent or city? I could have any woman in this arena. I used you. This is what I do. I use people to get what I want. With Alicia, with you by my side, Alicia, I knew I'd get attention. But now you're more trouble than you're worth. Jog on, son. Jog on. You mean nothing to me." And he drops and walks. Yes! I think he's turned face. Maybe. Yay! Alicia's getting released in the morning. Da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-da-da. Then again, she might not, considering the paid situation. Otherwise, they've only got like 4 women left, I think, on Raw. Oh, sorry, I forgot about Dana and Mickey because they weren't even on the show. So, yeah. That's your 205 Live and Smackdown stuff for the week. So, next up is...
Moving on to GFW.
Impact. Because I can still call it that and not be in trouble.
Welcome, Jeremy.
Fuck that out! Fuck that out! So we start off in the LAX clubhouse, and Conan and the crew are counting all the money that they've earned off the promoters. Well, I say earned, stolen. And we're going to introduce the newest member of LAX tonight. There comes Alberta with both belts and his family. And says, "Mexicans don't need a reason to party. And anyone who knows me, they know how I like to throw a good party." That's a thing. All these words, it's not very good evidence, is it? He introduces the Karrases and says that his brother will be joining him soon.
I think you fucked, Ryan.
Oh boy.
And puts over his legendary father, which that's actually fair. You know, he had the toughest fight of his life on Sunday, and it was to support the fans that got him through it. He respects Lashley, but he's undisputed champ. And anyone will have the opportunity, even if you work for another company or sitting in the crowd. So here comes Lashley and says Alberto's an egomaniac. He didn't need confetti or champagne. He's celebrating a fluke win, and after I beat you up, we're going to build a wall to keep your family where they belong. Oh, God. Really? And then Lashley went like, oh, well, your dad hits harder than you. And who knows? Weird opening segment. So then we're with Bruce Pritchard backstage and asks Borash and Josh if this is over. And says it better be because of all the heat I've took on social media over this. Really? That's all? Just the Borash and Josh stuff? Okay. And if they get into this again, people are going to lose their job, and that includes Pope. And Pope says, it's got nothing to do with me, and Bruce goes, well, it is now. And the one thing I will give credit for, Josh was heel announcer, but they didn't bring it up at all. So what was the fucking purpose of the segment if there is no payoff? I really can't tell. So then we get Sanjay Dutt versus Caleb Conley. Pretty good brief match for what it was. Sanjay winning. But, you know, Conley looked good as well. But, Trevor Lee runs here, attacks Dutt, grabs the belt and says, you know, your new X Division champion is me. I don't think that's how it works. So now Mackenzie's backstage with Eddie Edwards and the Veterans of War and Grado. And Grado says, well, I'm glad to be back here. And Mayweather says, you know, I'm glad to be back here as well after celebrating 4th of July. And Eddie makes Grado an honorary American. And then some random blokes doing squats. Because reasons. So here comes the 8-man, Veterans, Grado, and Edwards versus Drake, Adonis, Falabar, and Mario Bakara. Pretty short match, which turned into chaos pretty quickly on. And then Eddie managed to hit the Boston Knee Party on Bakara. And that was it. So, pretty quick. And then Joseph Park came to the ring with a piece of paper. And Grado hugs him, and then Joseph is looking concerned and hands Grado the paper, and he looks at it, and it's like, oh, God. You never find out what it is. You'll find out next week. Oh, shit. Is he having the relationship with Kurt Angle?
Oh, God. There is actually something that's going into that right now that people are talking about.
Which is?
So, the speculation is Kurt Angle has an estranged son from outside of his marriage, and it's Jason Jordan.
I'm letting those fireworks sink in.
Which means, if I think of this properly, the way that genetics works, the person that is going to be the reason that Jason Jordan exists is going to be And this will tie into Booker T.
What?
This is the rumor going around right now.
Why are we doing TNA matches? What?
I don't know. NXT's Ring of Honor now, so anything's possible.
So then we get Matt Sydal versus Braxton Sutter as I try and fucking not throw up. Okay match as well. Sydal winning with the Sydal press.
Yeah.
Ali comes in afterwards to comfort Braxton and shoves her hand away and walks off. And then sort of waves saying, "Get over here." Oh, look, domestic abuse. Yeah, this is awkward. I hate you. I love you. Notice any similarities, Jeff? Hey? Do you want to re-edit that? And we're back to the LAX clubhouse. We're still talking about the new member of LAX. But you're not going to be told, you're going to be shown. Because LAX is going to get colder, bloodier, and deadlier. So it's Abdullah the Butcher. I'm guessing. So then Borash introduces the Super X Cup. And brings out the participants. So we've got Sammy Guevara, Drago, ACH, Andrew Everett, Taiji Ishimori, Davey Richards. And opening it up, at least for this week, it's going to be Xavier versus Idris Abraham. And this is a good match, as you expect, with these two. And eventually it's Xavier getting the win with a German suplex followed with the spiral tap. The pleasing thing as well, considering it's the only time they've been on the show, they've told more storyline in their match than the entire X division has before Loki and Sonjay Dutt. It's rather crazy. Then afterwards, Xavier looks at the trophy and Lou's like, "Yeah, that'll be mine, son." So then Mackenzie Miles is backstage with Gail Kim and says that there's going to be a big announcement next week. So then they do a video package for Marufuji. Then Desmond Xavier is interviewed backstage saying, how awesome the cup is and says how people are not from America. Now Mackenzie's backstage with Moose, who will be defending the grand title against Marufuji. And EC3 comes in and says, "Wait, you're giving the shot to some random outsider who's leapfrogging me to get a title shot, especially after what I did to Storm?" Moose is just like, well, getting lonesome. So then we have Sienna versus Rebel for the Knockouts title. And once again, it's that front guillotine thing that I guess is the move now.
Yep.
The one thing I will say is this was a good match. Rebels learned a lot in Stardom, apparently. Looks like she actually wants to wrestle. Apparently. So then we get the rematch between Alberto and Lashley. Pretty good match for where it was. Of course, that's where Josh bloody mentions, "Oh yeah, Paige was here," which isn't, it's okay. It's known on the dirt sheets, but why are we bringing dirt sheets into real life? You know what happened the last time that all happened? WCW died on its fourth attempt to revive it. Notice any similarities, Mr. Jarrett? Ugh. Aside from that, though, this is a good match. Probably not as good as the pay-per-view, but the reason why it probably wasn't as good is DQ finish, because LAX run in, swarm Lashley, all beat down on him. Conan says 5150, presents the newest soldier, Alberta. And Alberto is just completely knocked out and everything from the spear that Lashley gave him and the Dominator. And they haul him up onto basically, I think it was EYFBO's shoulders, as if to go, yeah, I'm with him. And he's completely out of it. And they help him to the back. And that's Impact. An okay show. From what I remember, the viewing figures were up by somewhere in the region of close to 100,000. I think it was like 260 to 340. So let's hope the numbers maintain themselves.
I'd like to be able to go to more shows. The next show, of course, August 17th, is going to be Destination X, a live to tape edition of GFW Impact,
which will be having the finals of the Super X Cup, which, from who's made it through, let's just say it should be a good one.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that match live.
Also, I mean, you can probably put 2 and 2 together, considering how Gail said that she's going to come back for one more run with the title.
Yep.
And Sienna's champion. That might be a clue. I don't think anything else has really been established yet.
Well, not officially now.
Because the complication is, depending on the situation, what happens with the world title if it's on a certain person.
And of course, you have to see who's challenging EYFBO for the tag team titles too.
Mm-hmm. But there you go.
Jeff Jarrett had a media call earlier today, as you alluded to. There was something that came out of that media call, which is very interesting as well. And that is the fact that Bound for Glory got announced. Now, I don't know if
I'm guessing for the Impact Zone.
It doesn't say anywhere. It does say that it's going to be November 5th, which is the night after the final night of Halloween Horror Nights 27. So, regardless.
Really?
Bound for Glory is November 5th.
November?
Yep.
Well, there goes that tradition out the fucking window.
Which, like I said, since it's the night after the final night of Halloween Horror Nights, I will be in attendance.
Yeah, but I still question whether that's the right timing, if that's the right terminology.
It's weird. Speaking of weird, let's go to Lucha Underground.
Phoenix in the Flame. So they open. Basically, it's just more Cueto Cup stuff, except we're in the second round this time. So we start off with Jeremiah Crane versus Taya. To me, considering all the stories that have come out in the last few days, seeing intergender wrestling in a violent physical capacity was a little bit, yeah, I understand why people don't like this. It was a good match for what it was, but what I did love of the fact is pretty early on, after Callahan basically slapped her around, he put her in the chairs outside and did the half run round the ring to dive into a cannonball style. And after that spot, the crowd immediately went, "This is awesome." But that's the only thing that's happened. How is that awesome? Seriously. Anyway, Sexy Star shows up towards the end, causing enough of a distraction to tire for a package pile driver, which is, of course, known as the cranial contusion, giving Crane the win. And then afterwards, Sexy gets Tyre up and smacks her with the brass knucks in revenge for her DQ loss in the first round. So then Phoenix is training backstage and Aerostar comes in. And they talk about Drago, and how he's left the tribe before. And then Aerostar was also like, well, I'm putting my money on you for the rest of the tournament. And Phoenix is rightfully going, isn't that a bit wrong considering you're a time traveler and everything? If so, how am I going to do tonight? And he just does the whole, with the hand and then thumbs up. So I guess that's a thing. So next we've got Paul London versus Mil Muertes, which is predominantly a Mil match. There is some offense for London in parts. Then the bloody Rabbit Tribe come in to cause distractions, which allows London to connect with a high spot. Then goes back up, shooting star press, 1, 2, kick out. Goes for another shooting star press, connects again. 1, 2, kick out. But London isn't adamant that it was free. So he's like, oh, what happened? And then gets murdered by Mil. And Paul London gets the lick of death while he's smiling because, he'd be crazy. So then we go to a bar somewhere, and good old Bertha's chatting up El Tejano, saying, basically coming on to him. And it's like, well, do you want a drink? And then, I guess they have some shots of vodka, and he's like, oh, I'm getting all dizzy. And Tejano goes, well, that's the way it works. And I'm going, oh shit, has he date raped her? Oh, more digs at Alberta. And then she says, well, you're just pitiful and shit. And he smashes the Budweiser on the bar. And goes, look, I'm an all-out fighter. I'm ready to go. And Bertha's just like, look, I think you need a woman by your side to be your rock. And then in the bar, sort of like in one of the, what would the seats be called? Like cubbyhole seats?
Something like that.
Like the surrounded seats. It's just like a box sort of area. I don't know what you describe it as. That sort of thing. And there, just like bloody famous B has got his hat sort of tipped down, but he looks up so the camera can get it. And he's doing the old air fisherman's bloody hook reeling, like, yeah, I got you now. Like, what? So then they announce next week it'll be Cage versus Pindar. Son of Havoc versus Dante Fox, and PJ Black versus Prince Puma. So then it's time for Marty the Moth Martinez versus Phoenix. It starts off immediately from the start because Marty's got a box of it looks to be a lunchbox with Aztec Pride on the front of it. And he's got some like cake in it or something. And smashes it sort of, well, I don't say smashes it, but like puts it in her mouth as if, like, eat it, bitch. And she spits it out back at him and introduces Phoenix. This was a good match because the storyline was obviously Marty wants to fuck stuff. Well, probably Melissa. So much so that she's basically cheering Phoenix on. And then Marty grabs the mask and starts tearing it, making the eye patch visible. So you can basically sort of see his face to some extent. And eventually, towards the end, Mariposa goes to use the lunchbox or give it to Marty, and Melissa stops Mariposa and goes, "No, I won't let you do it." And this distraction allows Phoenix to roll. He rolls him up by basically folding his legs over Marty's legs. I don't know what description that would be, Owen, in terms of the pin.
I'd have to see it myself. That's the only way I really can describe that.
Well, obviously, Marty's shoulders are on the mat, but his legs are basically up to his chest. And Phoenix is arched backwards with the legs. So he's facing up, like looking up to the roof. But he's only draping the legs. He hasn't really held the shoulders down. It's just the pressure of the legs pushing him down and whatever. So it was a nice little finish, certainly. And then Marty grabbed the lunchbox and smashed Phoenix in the head with it. And then he opened the lunchbox and got some spices and whatever and some sauces and whatever. And then he found a fork. And Melissa, obviously, at this time is like, "Whoa, what's this? What's this? I know, this is a bit too crazy." And good old Marty the Moth, channeling his inner Abdullah the Butcher, just goes pricking his head like it's a bloody Frankenfurter. And she's being held back. Marissa's being held back by Mariposa, helpless, watching on. As Marty the Moth decides to go to where he's been spiking and lick the blood up. Kids TV, everybody!
Oh boy.
Bagel bites.
That's crazy.
That's the closest. The only reason it got the roundabout treatment is because, wow, they think this sort of angle is perfect stuff for television. It's okay for CZW, but mainstream television, especially at this would have been before the 9 o'clock hour. Not even WWE did that. So I don't know. But there you go.
There you go.
That's Lucha.
Lucha Underground is going to lead us, I believe, into... Yep, we're going to WCPW now.
Which is rather easy to do because there ain't a lot. Because I know the results of what's happened, but I don't want to tell you in case WCPW gets in a hissy fit. The positive thing is, it's all going down this weekend. So this Friday, it will be on the YouTube page, I believe at 7 p.m. UK time. They will be airing the German qualifier that happened 2 weeks ago. or I guess a week and a half ago. And then the Japanese leg of the Pro Wrestling World Cup will be on Saturday, again at 7 p.m. UK time, so 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. All on What Culture Wrestling's YouTube channel. The one thing I will mention is we do have a new name for the Pro Wrestling World Cup Rest of the World qualifiers, and it's one that I should have thought about. It's Flash Morgan Webster from Wales. Because I forgot that it was English qualifiers, not British qualifiers. So all we need is an Irishman now. I'm trying to think of who's available from OTT Wrestling. So yeah, that's really all there is. And I guess we'll briefly run through the stuff next week as we build up to also next week's final 2 shows with the USA qualifiers and the rest of the world qualifiers. Which, from what I remember, the rest of the world qualifiers, they've already confirmed El Ligero versus Jay Lethal again on that one.
Don't we have a listing of everybody that's in the qualifiers, but we just don't know the matches yet?
No, they haven't named the other 4 yet. They haven't named the other 4 for the rest of the world. We don't have a full list. The one, but I'm trying to quickly bring it up because there was another non-tournament match which I was like, okay, that's actually pretty good. Okay, the Pro Wrestling World Cup page is useless. I'm guessing it's What Culture WWE from what I remember. Unless they've added some since. As I scroll down to look for the details, there we go. Oh, also along with Jay Lethal and El Ligero on that rest of the world stuff from Newcastle, we've got Ricochet versus Marty Scurll as well. So it's already looking to be a good show as it is. Tickets, I think, went on sale this week or last week. For the finals over the August weekend, over the bank holiday. I honestly don't know what's happening with that. Because it's like, yeah, get tickets, except you only know 12 of the people that are there. Like, okay, that's a bit awkward.
According to WCPW's Twitter, the 8 men in the USA qualifiers are announced.
Oh, we know those 8. We know it's Bobby Fish and Ricochet and James Storm and Well, I guess that's the question. Is it Bobby Fish?
I mean, I wouldn't see a reason why not.
They might let him, considering how they took Piper and Nixon.
Well, that doesn't matter now because she's out.
Well, technically she isn't. We'll bring that up in the news, but if he's signed on, and obviously he's only been in one match, they might be, because it's an already signed up thing, they might grant him it. Obviously they might not, in which case, quick, get a replacement.
UFC.
Oh, this shit. So, got very interesting. And I think a good way, maybe. The reason why I say that is because it already started interesting on the Friday because Aspen Ladd had to get pulled at the last minute due to illness. It was due to fight Jessica I, so that fight obviously never happened. And then in the early morning of the Saturday, it was revealed that Amanda Nunes was in no shape to fight. Ariel Helwani reported that she was in the hospital and that she'd been feeling ill all week. And then it eventually got confirmed that the fight wouldn't be happening. And then the interim middleweight title moved up to the main event status, and everything else moved around as needed to. So Valentina Shevchenko put a statement out saying, "Today I'm 100% ready for the fight. During the last 3 months of training, I did everything to be in my best shape. Nunes couldn't cut weight correctly and was hospitalized. She wanted to cut weight and recover rapidly to have the advantage. The end result, everything went wrong. Even though she was medically cleared to fight, she backed out. The fight was originally offered to take place in April, and she wouldn't accept then. I did my part, and I'm very upset that I can't fight for the title on this great event. I'm even more upset for all the fans who support me every time throughout the world, and to those who travel to see me fight here in Vegas live. I feel frustrated about what happened, but I won't relax and will not put down energy in my preparation, and will wait until I get another date for the fight." So Dana again also said that she didn't feel good, and that the Nevada Commission executive director said that there were issues that went beyond weakness from cutting weight. Also, it was revealed that Joanna Jędrzejczyk was begging to replace her on short notice, but it wasn't possible with the commission. And Shevchenko said she would have accepted that fight anyway. So regarding it, Nunes said that she had sinusitis and wasn't able to fight. Dana said that the withdrawal was 90% mental and 10% physical, noting that she went to the hospital, couldn't find anything wrong, and was cleared. They didn't consider stripping her of the title because she had no history of late withdrawals, but they said he wasn't paying any of her purse, and she'd never main event with her again. Which is interesting, considering he said John Jones will never main event a pay-per-view. Oh, look, he's main eventing the next one. So Nunes basically said she's got chronic sinusitis and has fought with it before, but this time it just didn't work out. She was unable to breathe and felt off balance from the pressure in her sinuses during the weight cut, and didn't feel good enough to risk getting punched in the face. She went into the hospital after the weigh-ins, and they only checked her blood apparently, and if she was hydrated, and obviously there was no issues. And then she went back early on Saturday. They did a CT scan and found the build-up, so she was prescribed antibiotics and sent to a specialist. So basically, it's like, well, I'm never having her in a fight. If she was, she may have been bloody concussed and possibly, had brain damage. Not a great image, is it, Dana? Oh, wait, you're more interested in making fucking money off McGregor and Mayweather. Or some fighters on your bloody UFC Fight Pass shit. And that's why I agree with Gerard Mousasi. So yeah, over on the MMA Hour of Ariel Helwani, he came on as a mystery guest and announced that he signed a 6-fight contract with Bellator, and is immediately interested in the middleweights and the light heavyweights, as well as Rory McDonald. He said that UFC's offer was close to the Bellator offer, but the decision was based on previously working for Scott Coker, and that after his UFC contract expired with his win in April over Weidman, his 5th in a row, he had talked to Russian promoters as well about going into boxing. He's looking forward to winning a Bellator title, saying that he wants to go for the middleweight title first, but then move up and challenge for the light heavyweight title. And is even considering fighting as heavyweight. As a little known fact, back in 2009 as a heavyweight, he knocked out Mark Hunt in the first round in Japan. I'm guessing that was a Pride show, I'd have thought. So yeah, that's getting interesting. In terms of when the first fight will be, it will be at some point apparently in 2017. And apparently, he wasn't promised an immediate shot at Rafael Carvalho, the middleweight champ, but apparently during the interview, representatives of him contacted the show and basically said he wants it. So we'll have to see what happens there. Now, in terms of the Floyd and Conor stuff, all this shit's going down. The first day was a bit of a disappointment. It wasn't really building up the hype that much. Really. It'll be interesting to, because I haven't been able to see it yet, whether the Toronto one was any good from earlier. I'm hoping they step it up, considering the next two are New York and London, because London will not take it lightly, I would argue. Also, hopefully, when they do the London thing, we'll actually find out which UK broadcaster is showing the thing. Because as it currently stands, I don't know how I'm going to be able to watch it other than illegal methods. Because there is no listing. Let me check. Mayweather, McGregor, broadcaster UK. I want to know. Yeah, I don't want to buy tickets. Nope. That's US television. I don't want to know how much it is in the UK. Or whether it's... doesn't even say. Brilliant. Great job, guys. Keep telling us how much it is in America when your website is based out of the UK and most of the people who read it are in the UK. You twat. In terms of other stuff, actually, interestingly, how Wani tweeted he won't be working for Showtime on the McGregor-Mayweather press tour stuff that's been happening this week, because UFC specifically asked him to be removed from the broadcasts. Wow, being that bitchy. Robert, okay, that's relating to the actual stuff, the matches. So I guess we'll get to that next. Frank Mir's announced that he's been granted his release from the UFC, and TJ Dillashaw's no longer planning to fight at 125 level and wants to challenge Cody Garbrandt, I think, at the higher up level, from what I remember. So the weekend's UFC stuff started with the Fight Night. The Ultimate Fighter Redemption finale, which was won by Jesse Taylor, beat Diego Lima early in the second, pretty impressively, with a rear naked choke. And in the main event, Justin Gaethje beat Michael Johnson late on in the second. They're trying to line up him versus Eddie Alvarez, from what I can tell, as probably to find a contender for the lightweight title. So that's a pretty good one. Also on the main card, we had Drakkar Klose beat Mark Giacassi on split decision. A third round TKO for Jared Cannonier versus beating Nick Roerick. Brad Tavares beat Elias Theodorou on unanimous decision, and another unanimous decision win for Jordan Johnson over Marcel Fortuna. In terms of the other stuff, the only fight on the Fight Pass was Gray Maynard beating Teruto Ishihara via unanimous decision. And then the Fox Sports 1 prelims had Ticia Torres beat Juliana Lima, CB Dollaway victorious over Ed Herman, James Krause over Tom Galaccio, and Angela Hill beating Ashley Yoda. All those last three were all unanimous decision ones. So in terms of fight of the night and performance of the night, Justin Gette's main event win was that impressive. Not only did he get 50,000 for fight of the night along with Johnson, he also got an additional 50,000 for performance of the night. So he got 100,000 for being in the fight, plus another 100,000 for winning, plus another 100,000 combined for the fight and performance of the night bonuses. So pretty ridiculous there. The interesting thing is, though, the other one went to Ticia Torres on the prelims, and her rear naked choke win, which meant that she basically doubled her money in terms of stuff. So good to see that some of the people lower down the card were also making some good bonus money and stuff. So then we get to the pay-per-view, UFC 213. The Fight Pass prelims had Coney Starman beat Terrion Ware in the featherweights by unanimous decision. And then a second round KO for Trevin Giles over James Boknovich in the light heavyweight. For the Fox Sports 1 prelims, Bilal Muhammad beat Jordan Mine via unanimous decision. Thiago Santos victorious over Gerald Merciert midway through the second on TKO. Midway through the third, Chad Laprise beat Brian Kamotzi. The main event, Alexei Oleinik beat Travis Brown with a second round rear naked choke. And then with the main card, Rob Font beat Douglas Silva de Andrade with a late second round guillotine choke submission. Anthony Pettis beat Jim Miller on unanimous decision. Another unanimous decision went to Curtis Blades over Daniel Armenchuk. Alistair Overeem beat Benicio Verdum on a majority decision. One of the judges gave it a 28 draw. The other two gave it 29-28 to Overeem. And then the main event for that interim UFC middleweight title, Robert Whittaker beat Yoel Romero. And possibly an upset, who knows? Because Romero was obviously going to be probably next to take on McGregor, who knows? All three judges gave it 48-47, and that was probably fair. It probably was 3 rounds to 2. Unsurprisingly, Whittaker and Romero got fight of the night, so they got $50,000 each on top of their $350, because ridiculousness. Also worth noting, Overeem apparently made $800,000. Thankfully, he didn't get a win bonus, but Jesus Christ. The positive thing is, though, again, some of the undercard actually got some good money, because the performances of the night went to Rob Font for his guillotine choke submission on Andrade, which meant he had 39,000 topped up with another 50,000. And then Chad Laprise for his TKO on Brian Kamotzi gave him an extra 50 to add to his 48. So good money was made by a fair few. You know, it's amazing that you get Alistair Overeem, who gets paid $800,000 on the same as Brian Kamotzi that gets paid 10,000. That is. Jeez. So with the Tuesday night fights, there were 5 different weights represented this Tuesday. It seems to be going for about 8 weeks. So I guess we may cover it every week, or we may just touch on the matches that matter. Certainly for this week, we'll go through the 5. In the flyweights, we had Joby Sanchez beat Manny Vasquez via unanimous decision. All 3 judges gave it 29-27. Charles Bird beat Jamie Pickett with a very late first round with about a few seconds left, arm triangle choke submission. Boston Salmon beat Ricky Turkios via unanimous decision. I'm not sure what the scores were there. Zu Anyamu beat Greg Rebello with a second round KO. And then Kurt Holloway beat Matt Bassett with a first-round KO. Good old knockout punch and everything. After this, it's like, okay, who impresses Dana enough to get a fight contract? And Holloway for his main event win, and Boston Salmon probably for his name. All got UFC contract, or both got UFC contracts. The others, you're shit out of luck. Boo. Isn't really fair. There's another 5 coming up this week. I think it's at Las Vegas again. They did say different venues, so I don't know. Yeah, that'll be happening, I guess, next Tuesday. But the big thing this weekend is in Glasgow, Scotland, up in the SSE Hydro, aka the home of ICW now. It'll be the second time that they've hosted a show since the fight night between Bisping and Letters back in July 2 years ago. The main event will be Gunnar Nelson taking on Santiago Ponzinibbio. We've also got Joanne Calderwood, the Scottish buzzsaw, or whatever you want to call her, taking on Cynthia Calvillo. We've also got Stevie Ray versus Paul Felder, Jack Marshman versus Ryan James, Khalil Roundtree versus Paul Craig, and James Mulheron versus Justin Willis. And then on the prelims, the Fight Pass stuff has Leslie Smith versus Amanda Lamas and Brett Johns versus Albert Morales. And the Fox Sports 1 prelims feature Danny Henry versus Daniel Tamer, Charlie Ward taking on Galore Bofando, Alexander Pantoja versus Neil Siri, and Danny Roberts taking on Bobby Nash as the UFC continues. And yeah, as we build closer and closer as well, I guess, to M versus M, or CM versus FM, I guess. So there you go. UFC's in the books.
All right, we go from one set of 3 initials to another. It's time for NXT,
which I've heard was pretty good tonight.
Yeah, very much so. So this, of course, is from the last set of tapings. The newest set of tapings we'll be discussing in a few minutes, but we want to talk about this show first. Oh, yeah. Basically, the seeds have been planted for Red Dragon to make their presence known in the tag team division down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it that way. Video package on what happened with Tommaso Ciampa going rogue on Johnny Gargano, splitting up DIY, and a little bit of backstory on them. Great video package as always. We see Roddy backstage with his mom and the MMA fighter that's his fiance after the loss last week. Bobby Roode is going to come out tonight and he's going to address the fans. Show kicks off with a match that I heard about and I wish I could have been there live for. It is Aleister Black, and Aleister Black is going one-on-one against the NXT debut of Bobby Fish. Really good match here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure no one is surprised by me saying that.
No.
Great back and forth between the two. Really hard-hitting matchup. I enjoyed it for every bit of it. I wish I could have seen it live, honestly. And out of absolutely nowhere, after a lot of back and forth, Black wins the Black Mass. No surprise here that who won, of course, obviously, given the fact that it's a debut. But is it playing into something? That's the question. Something tells me that Aleister Black made a tag team partner if he's going to face off against Fish and someone else. Well, I said NXT is ROH, so I mean that's pretty much what it is.
Is it ROH or is it Dixie's Ring of Honor?
It could go either way.
Dixie's Ring of Honor with guys that got released from WWE ages ago that have now come back.
NXT NA.
Yeah.
I believe it's what we called it back in the day, was NXT NA.
Sounds legit.
Yes. And of course, I'm having issues with my computer right now to try to get a little bit more of a recap than I had from notes. So that's wonderful.
Hang on. I might try and help you out if that's the case.
It's fine. The computer is running extremely slow, and I don't know why.
That's why I'm trying to take over, because I've actually got one that can work.
Good.
So they have a backstage bit with Itami and Ono.
Yep.
Basically, meet each other and all that stuff. And then it was time for the Street Profits. Or something.
Yeah.
What is this?
It's Montez Ford and Travis's favorite wrestler, Angelo Dawkins.
Oh, God, they're back.
They kind of got like a crime time thing going to it a little bit, to an extent.
Is that a good thing? Is that a good thing?
It depends on who you ask, I guess.
Oh. So then they have Kayla trying to interview the Velveteen Dream. And Dream refused to be interviewed. And figure something else out. Yeah, what the fuck happened to you, Patrick Clark? I put on Instagram. So then it's time for Mae Young Classic match. Was this the one with the female ref?
I would say so.
Yay.
Kennedy Brink?
Yep.
No. It was Danielle Camella against Jamie Jameson. Obviously using their new NXT names.
Yeah, Vanessa Bourne and Jamie Hatchie.
Yeah, that's a horrible name.
Jimmy Hachi.
I really don't like.
Hi Hachi Mishima. Oh.
Oh, it's so wrong.
Yes, it is.
And it's just a short match. Nothing really to write home about.
Special, yeah.
Danielle Camella looks a lot like Marty Bell. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're both going to be in the Mae Young Classic. She wins with basically a high cradle into a like a non-sit out Blue Thunder. Best way to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a high cradle protobomb, I guess.
Spinning
you would say.
suplex. Spinning suplex, according to F4W.
Yeah, that did not look like a suplex to me.
Nobody knows what it is. It's a thing.
It was a high cradle non-sit out Blue Thunder, and I'm going to stick with that because I like to be difficult.
Indeed.
Continue.
Then they show the video clip that I talked about last week about Drew McIntyre getting attacked by Wolf and Dane.
Yep.
Because reasons.
I love how that shot outside of Full Sail too.
Mm-hmm.
You only would know that if you've ever been to the venue because there's no other way to describe exactly where it is.
Remember what was also shot outside of Full Sail? Oh shit, Nikki Storm's on the hood.
Of course.
Yay. So we're back in Regal's office. And he's with Bobby Roode. And he mentions both Dane and McIntyre. And Roode says, look, I could be both of them any day of the week, but you know what? Have them wrestle each other and see what happens. And then it's like, sir, you want to see them take each other out so you haven't got any competition. And he's like, I am offended by this shit. What are you talking about? So Regal sets it up. Dane and McIntyre, whoever wins, challenges Roode at TakeOver Brooklyn.
And is the rightful owner of the WCPW Championship.
Well, I'm trying to work out whether it's the Ring of Honor World title or the WCPW title or the ICW title or the TNA World Heavyweight title.
So many different answers here.
It's one of the four. It's one of the four.
Yes, it is.
So then Johnny Gargano comes out and says he was excited when he heard the music, but now all he can think about is what happened in Chicago. He spent all the time going over everything in his head, but he'll never understand what happened. But he isn't here to dwell on the past. He's going to look towards the future. He's here in front of all the people. No matter what, he wants to be at Brooklyn and needs to be Johnny Gargano again, but also needs to be Johnny Wrestling. And then, oh shit, he's actually got new music.
Yeah, that's what we're talking. We talked about it during several podcasts ago, where they were working on Johnny's new entrance theme, and that's going to be his new entrance theme, apparently.
So was it average then?
It was all right.
Mm-hmm.
Typical NXT entrance theme. Nothing to write home about. I do like what they did during the tapings tonight, but I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
They then mention that Ember Moon takes on Ruby Riott. I'm guessing number one contenders, probably.
Correct.
Probably how it'll be framed. And then Fat Fucks versus Fat Fucks. Bah, 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 bah.
Yeah. This is the match that I honestly thought was going to be where somebody finally took down the Authors of Pain. No. For some stupid reason, they want to keep pushing them. So, Heavy Machinery couldn't get the job done. It was a hoss battle, to say the least. And it leads to last chapter for the finish. I still don't care what the Authors of Pain. It was a cool moment at the end of the match where the lights went out, Sanity's music played, and all of a sudden the pages fell from the top of Full Sail Live of the Authors of Pain, Book of Pain, of course. So that means that we're building to Sanity against Authors of Pain. Which I'm pretty sure we called months ago. So, there's that. That was NXT. Pretty good show. Storyline progression leading to TakeOver Brooklyn 3.
Hold on. Just been to grab to get my dinner. Because I'm hoping I just got it back in time for the start of the spoils.
Yeah, you actually did.
Good. Quick to the Twitters. So, apparently we had a dark match with Jeet Rama again.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Against Mystery Jobber.
You guys really need to get the real results for these matches, please. Ask people who these people are.
I don't think anybody knows.
No, I think they do know. I just think that they don't know.
I mean, the honestly scary thing is the next match. Holy fuck. What is this person doing back? What?
So yeah.
I don't even want to say it, but Ember Moon beat Lady Tapas.
Yeah, your favorite.
Lady Tapas. We've got enough fucking Samoans in this fucking company. Although it is worth noting afterwards, I feel sorry for saying all that stuff now. She was helped to the back by the refs and might actually be legit hurt. Oh, I feel sorry for doing that. But still, Lady Tapas.
She take the Eclipse wrong like everyone else does.
Who knows? But
yeah,
anyway,
that's what it sounds like.
Ember challenged what Chris Jericho says to the referee when a submission is happening. To a title match. So then we've got AOP versus Timmy Lou Retton and his partner. Doesn't happen.
Nope.
As Sanity lay out the jobbers, and then Sanity and AOP have a big old fight, with AOP getting the better of it eventually. Velveteen Dream beat Cesar Bononi because reasons.
We went with the Purple Rainmaker.
And then said he won't do an interview in front of the ugliest that is the NXT universe. Nice. So then we got some build for Drew and Rude. And by the way, spoilers for next week.
Yeah.
When Drew was gone, he realized that he had to be the hardest worker, and companies grew with him, and it's because of everybody working to be the best, and that's why he signed back with NXT. Yeah, everyone's treated like an equal, except for Bobby, because he walks around with a sense of entitlement. You know, Rude isn't NXT, everyone's NXT. A nice little promo. So then, because we can't do it on bloody pay-per-view, Itami versus Ono.
Yep.
Which Ono wins.
What's my DQ?
Yes. Because Itami kicked him in the balls.
Yeah, so Ono went for... Yeah, Tommy went for the go to sleep. Ono escaped out of it, went for the rolling elbow, and got kicked straight in the nuts. He hit 2 go to sleeps and left Ono laying, and then he hit one onto the steps at ringside. Ono is now officially working with Itami, and Itami is now officially healed.
Apparently, the jobber in the opening match was Mike Drake, or Mick Drake. Tier 1 Wrestling, I guess, was offended.
Understandable.
And then afterwards, Itami beat down on Ono, gave him 2 GTSs, and then dropped him on his face on the ring steps.
Hence what I just said. Continue.
So then we get Johnny Gargano versus Raul Mendoza.
Yep, Cruiserweight Classic, Raul Mendoza.
Well, Gargano wins, that's all that matters.
Yeah, he wins with a Gargano escape.
So there comes Asuka. Oh, good.
Real quick, Ashley, the thing I mentioned, I didn't really go into it. Gargano starts out with a DIY theme. He looks at the Tron itself with DIY dissolves into Gargano, and it starts the new music. So that was his new entrance. Kind of cool.
Yeah. I approve.
Same.
So then we get Asuka coming out saying that she's beaten him before and she'll beat her again and she isn't ready for me. And of course, the crowd are going ape shit for her because she's the heel. So there comes Ember and says, ever since Orlando, I've known that I'm ready. The people know that I'm ready. And you know, Asuka, that I'm ready. You know the truth. You aren't ready for me. And Asuka won't shake Ember's hand afterwards. He slaps her, and Ember slaps back, and they brawl, and Ember hits the Eclipse on her. Oh, I like how they've done that. They're literally building it as if, yeah, look, the challenger's going to be winning. Oh, you sneaky bastards.
Yeah.
So now it's time for Moss and Sabatelli versus Heavy Machinery. I bet that went well.
Heavy Machinery.
Look, Heavy Machinery won.
They won with the compactor.
So then we've got Sonya Deville versus... I mean, it sort of looks like Kimberly, partially.
It's Jenna Van Muscles.
Hang on. I'm trying to work out if that's Leia Von Dutch.
No.
I recognize the name, though.
She's a Florida indie worker.
Ah. That's probably why. But why are we pushing Sonya Deville?
This is stupid. Seriously, she sucks in the ring, like straight up. I don't buy her character. I'm sure she could kick my ass, but that doesn't take much. So it doesn't matter. But seriously, I do not buy Sonya Deville at all. I hope they abandon this quickly.
So Atami comes out speaking only in Japanese. So I guess somebody translated. Basically saying, I deserve respect. You know, don't disrespect me. I don't care who's next. Here comes Aleister Black. There's too many people here, I tell you. Atami basically walks off, tries to blindside Black, but gets a roundhouse kick and gets murdered. And Black waits for his opponent. Oh, fuck, it's Kyle O'Reilly.
Yep, that's right.
And, of course, Black wins. Boo. It is worth noting that that's the first time ever this match has happened, because the time that it could have happened in PWG had to be cancelled, basically because Tommy got signed to the E. Awkward. So then Sanity calls out AOP, and then Eric Young blindsides them, and they get on top. So now it's time for the Street Profits versus the Metro Brothers of Chris and JC.
Yep.
Again, I'm trying to remember who that is.
More Florida indie workers.
Oh, why did they get a Titantron then? That's unfair. The Street Profits win anyway. So then we got a face-to-face in the ring, face-off, because I need to say face enough, between Drew and Bobby, with Regal being in charge, going, all right, Sunshine. Rupert out security to protect the big money match since Strong's attacking people backstage. That's the first we've heard of this, so, you know, it's a good angle. And Rude said he's the money in the main event and that McIntyre's replaceable. Rude doesn't need second chances. He's done everything that he said he'd do. And this is why it's his company. I didn't need to be chosen because everybody knows Bobby Roode is glorious. And Drew says, to be honest, I thought you were putting up a facade, but now I really see that you do believe your own hype. And then here comes Roddy and says, I'm not done with you, Bobby. This isn't about the NXT title anymore. It's about you disrespecting my family. This isn't even about Brooklyn. It's about a fight. The question is, are you man enough, Bobby? And Bobby says, look, I'll face you in a fight, but, you know, whether it's non-title or not, just as long as I beat McIntyre. So if Roddy beats Drew, he gets to challenge Rude for the title after Brooklyn. Okay. I'm trying to work out that one. So then it's Danny Burch versus Oney Lorcan again. which I think that's on next week's show, considering they haven't aired it yet.
Yes, I believe
or at least
so.
the week after, whatever. Which Danny wins, which I think is the opposite of what happened the last time.
Yep. He counters the Boston Crab.
CN Andrade CN Almas beat No Way Jose. And then good old Taya gets on the mic, says Almas wants the spotlight, so at Brooklyn, Almas challenges Gargano. La Sombra versus Johnny Wrestling. Ooh. So then we got the contract signing between Ember Moon and Asuka. And Ember said the only person Asuka had to take shortcuts with was her. But all those shortcuts made her stronger and she'll beat her at TakeOver. And then Asuka goes, doing her Japanese yelling. So the Street Profits are in action again against Chris Silvio and Lars Sullivan. The interesting angle with this one is I think the Street Profits win.
Yep.
Rather than beat the shit out of him in the ring, he does so apparently again, but then also carries him out to the back as well.
Proof positive 2017. Lars Sullivan is now John Heidenreich.
Yeah. Then we get Ruby Riott beating Billie Kay. Then Peyton Royce calls Ruby a gross tattooed loser. Apparently. And then we get Roddy versus Drew. And Rude comes in and attacks both of them. So is the main event now becoming triple threat? So I'm worried. I'm a little concerned.
Shall see. That's NXT. The Mae Young Classic starts tomorrow. We'll have those results next week.
Interesting TNA news that's just come in. Good old Rebby Hardy saying, we've had agreement terms as of last week, including non-disparagement clause to the tune of $5,000 every time I tweet something about TNA. But according to Jeff Jarrett, there's nothing. Okay, who's up for another run of Fuck That Owl shirts? They'll be up by tomorrow. Haven't said anything for weeks. Meanwhile, Jeff, Dutch, and Ed can't seem to be able to keep us out of their mouths. Snakes. Oh, Christ. And then the Paige Alberto thing's more complicated. So she basically said that she was the one being held for battery after she threw a drink at Alberto. Yes. But the Orlando police basically say that Alberto is the only person that's been charged. Not Paige. Oh, it's getting too awkward. Oh, no. Oh.
All right, so that leads us now to Ring of Honor.
Pretty solid show again. So this one opened up. Well, I guess the first thing to mention, because it's only a short thing in the news, it's official that I'm trying to think back. What was the last pay-per-view?
But Death Before Dishonor? No.
Global Wars?
Yeah. Well, no, War of the Worlds.
Oh, that was it, War of the World. Yeah, because that was part of Global War. Yeah, so War of the Worlds was the last time you'd hear Kevin Kelly on Ring of Honor. He's quitting to stay full-time with New Japan and Access.
Leo Rush is officially signed with WWE.
Well, we'll get to that, but because he isn't Ring of Honor anymore.
No, but
He was for a bit, but I only bring it up because that means you're getting Ian Riccoboni and Colt Cabana. Let's hope BJ Whitmer doesn't come back. Sorry, BJ, but you're trying too hard to be Steve Corino at some point. It opened with a Cody video package because basically Daniels is being barred from the building next week so Cody can actually finish his speech. So the first match is Dalton and the Boys versus Coast to Coast and Flip Gordon. Pretty good match, actually. Yeah. But it was the Leon St. Giovanni getting bangaranged to get the loss for the team. But certainly Coast to Coast and Flip look very good. And the Boys have really come on well. Which I guess is what you want. So then they repeat Silas Young attacking Jay Lethal after the Best in the World show. Highlighting that keg smashed into the ribs. And Young sent a camera crew to the hospital and cut a promo outside, making it clear that Lethal won't be around for quite a while. Except he was on New Japan the next week. Awkward. So now it's Matt Taven versus Ultimo Guerrero. Oh, this match. This was good. But the big thing here was that the finish. Taven hitting a low blow, grabbing the referee's shirt, so obviously didn't see it. It hit the climax for the win. The match was really, really good between the two of them. The thing is, I feel that a lot of people will be going, why did they stick on this filler match? Not knowing that they've had a damn good series of matches in CMLL. They certainly showed it in this match because it was a good match. I just fear whether some people will go, why was this on? You know, Ultimo Guerrero is not coming back or whatever, so who knows. So then there's a promo from Hangman Page and the Young Bucks for their match with Bully Ray and the Briscoes for next week. Speaking about being irritated that the match won't be for the belts, but they'd not be victorious nonetheless. So the main event is War Machines versus the Machine Guns. And then they basically recapped the reason why the Machine Guns are still together because, you know, the Rebellions got split. And apparently Cabana said the Rebellion had to endure disbandment. And Ian Riccoboni rightfully went, is that even a word? They really did well, but the surprise sort of came with Sabin and Shelley hitting Made in Detroit on Raymond Rowe and getting the win. So clearly, we seem to be building towards the Young Bucks versus the Motor City Machine Guns for the TNA World Heavyweight Tag Titles.
God, so much impact this week on this show.
Well, no, that's coming up. Probably.
No, it's the whole freaking show.
No, but the actual match between the Machine Guns and the Bucks will be coming down the line. Still, pretty good show. Try and check it if you can.
All right, New Japan.
Oh, the one of the G's is happening. So yeah, this late Sunday into early Monday, depending where you are in the little globe. It's probably a technical term. Night one begins with Block A matches featuring Nagata versus Yoshihashi, Makabe versus Fale, Goto versus Ishii, Tanahashi versus Sabre Jr., and Naito versus Ibushi, main eventing the first night up in Hokkaido. So, yeah, I think it's a like 2 a.m. Eastern start from what I remember. So if you can be up, watch it. If not, it'll be on New Japan World. Speaking of New Japan, because that's really the only match that we'll be able to talk about, because the next stuff won't be till next Thursday, Friday, and Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So that's the only one happening before this show next Wednesday. The one thing worth noting is the British J Cup, that happened at Rev Pro this weekend, which we'll cover the results for in a minute. It's actually on New Japan World as part of the service. And that obviously includes Matt Riddle versus Tomohiro Ishii. Oh, shit. So, yes. Go check that out. Now is the time. At least, I'd say by Sunday, I'd recommend you all get your $10 that you would be spending on the network and spend it on 30 days of New Japan World. So you can watch the G1. Because then, handily, it's like a week or 2 weeks before SummerSlam. So it doesn't clash. So you can enjoy it. You can enjoy both. And not waste your money on Battleground. Boycott them, I guess. So, yeah, that's all the New Japan stuff, really.
Okay. So here's my question. Do you want to start with the information that I'm sure you're excited about, or do you want to end with it?
Information. Oh, shit. There is some other New Japan news. I forgot. They've officially set the other matches, as in title matches for the other shows. They've done the full list, so I won't go through all of them. I'll just bring up the title matches. Because the final night, the Sumo Hall show on August the 13th, they've now added the Young Bucks defending their junior tag belts against Ricochet and Taguchi, and War Machine defend against Hangman Page and Cody Rhodes. Is that where they do it?
Maybe.
They realize that they can give Cody some sort of belt. Because that sounds like a good idea to me.
All right.
So yeah, that's everything. I forgot that they added those tag title matches to the final night until I saw it in the notage. So what's the thing that I'm supposed to be excited about?
Well, obviously the big news is coming out of Reseda.
Oh, that. We'll leave it close to when we get to the PWG actual talk, because that's the thing I'm more excited about. Do you believe in miracles?
Indeed.
I'll quickly assess through the Dave stuff to see if there's anything of note. I saw that name. Apparently, Sexy Star's got a boxing match scheduled for August the 5th. She's focusing on boxing now at the minute rather than anything. El Macias / Mil Muertes apparently is accused his cleaning lady of robbing him of $8,000. Basically, he came home a couple of weeks back to find an envelope with that money missing, and the cleaning lady has disappeared. and all that. It's now official because they're idiots. Triple Mania will be staying on the same night as Mayweather versus McGregor. With Dorian Roldan saying that they were looking to get the fight on pay-per-view in Mexico and have it air on tape delay in America. Keep in mind, the last time it was on America, it went fucking terrible. That's positive. So the tire situation has just gone through with Dave because he's rightfully assessed it, because obviously we've told you before that she won via a chokehold, and you know the title apparently can only change hands via pinfall submission, and the fact she never gave up. And basically Dave says, is this seriously the most lame thing ever? A choke when the person passes out is inherently a successful submission, plus it was a street fight match. Plus, they already ruled that in the match that took place months ago, anyway, that it was legal. And all of a sudden, it's now illegal. So, you know, clusterfuck of all the fucks. There was publicity photos out of Jushin Thunder Liger in his ring costume upper body outfit, but without the lower outfit, instead wearing a mini skirt, because he's on some wacky Japanese game show where celebrities compete in track and field events wearing miniskirts. Only in Japan, everybody. Oh, God. There has been talk of a Women's Rumble match happening in January. Another thing is them doing a tag tournament on the network similar to the Dusty Classic, but I believe in the same capacity that, 205, the Cruiserweight Classic and the Mae Young Classic has been. So I guess they're going to give it its own show rather than just be part of whatever. WWE is trying to do another non-wrestling TV show with the Bellas. They've applied for a trademark called Bella Appetit, which would be a show about cooking and health and fitness. No. No. Kairi Sane, pronounce it. I would say Sane. Apparently, she is going to be allowed to use that elbow drop after the press release. After the press release, basically, everybody was bringing up how she does an elbow drop even better than Randy Savage. And I think WWE went, "Oh shit, we better actually just let her do that move." The reason why you haven't been seeing Orton on stuff is he's filming a role in Thailand for a film called Changeland, which Seth Green's directing. He will be on the Go Home show this coming Tuesday, though, when the prison is back. Word is going around that the Kevin Owens DVD is selling like hotcakes. Apparently.
That's what
the reason why this has come forward is basically Best Buy and Amazon have been sending out emails to people who've ordered it saying that they're going to have to wait for weeks for the orders. So either they've underordered or the orders are crazy. But there's no numbers, so there you go. Also, interestingly, Nico Gendron, who is one of the female WWE writers, or at least was for a bit in 2015, wrote of her experience on birthmoviesdeath.com. Quote, I was hired at WWE in the summer of 2015, right after they introduced the Divas Revolution. In a male-dominated writer's room, a female perspective was needed as WWE women's wrestlers were expected to rise above the traditional role of full-time candy and part-time wrestlers to share consistent, though limited airtime with their male superstar counterparts. I learned quickly that this wrestling dynasty hadn't caught up to the main cultural dialogue around feminism and female empowerment that was electric outside the company. With a great deal of ground to cover, I realized I'd have to embrace the little victories, like storylines that don't hinge on a disagreement over a male love interest. Right, Darren Alexander. Avoiding dialogue where male superstars reduce female wrestlers by telling them to shut up. All right, Darren Alexander. Or by positioning them as getting in the way of their own success. All right, Darren Alex. Hey! They never learned anything, everybody. They never learned anything. Right, 2 new houses have been added to King of Trios over the last week. House Fight Club. So it'll be Omari, Kyle Fletcher, and Millie McKenzie as part of the Fight Club Pro team. And then House 7 Seas has been added, which is going to be Hermit Crab and the Cajun Crawdad, along with Murloc. So we're 11 down, 5 to go for that. P. Windsor's apparently got word that Marty Bell and Mercedes Martinez are going to be in the Mae Young Classic. Wow. That's why Shine looks so fucking terrible. Also, apparently, Kaylee Ray and Aisha Raymond from the UK are going to be part of the tournament. That's official. WWE has announced them. Dave Marquez, the longtime promoter of Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, is now part owner of CZW. They have been working with talent from promotions working for the other. And this ownership announcement was revealed to the locker room at the Evolution show, which we'll be getting to the results in a minute. So once again, we've got another owner. Brilliantly. The big thing, though, that will certainly be worth checking out, I don't know whether Owen can even catch it, because he's probably working. Tomorrow on WWE's YouTube and Facebook, they're going to be airing the Mae Young Classic Parade of Champions, which will tell us all 32 competitors in the tournament. The sad news is the one that we can confirm that won't be in it is my girl, Nixon Newell. Basically, I guess she went over and they found that she had a torn ACL. So she's had to have surgery on that, which means she isn't part of the top competition. The thing is, she is signed to a developmental contract. So basically, she's staying over there. She ain't going to be coming back as if, she's actually part of the system. So I guess she'll be on NXT hopefully soon. I would hope. Triple H invited Mayweather and McGregor to be on Raw again. Also, they announced they had to black and white it because Wolfgang got busted open. Basically, Mark Dallas announced that Pete Dunne will be defending the the WWE UK title against Wolfgang and BT Gunn because they both pinned each other in a double pinfall, along with Trent Seven. So it's going to be a fatal four-way, I guess, on night 1 of Shug's House Party 4. Fire Pro Wrestling World is finally on Steam. I haven't picked it up yet, but the reviews seem to be pretty positive so far. They've also announced that Donovan Dijak will be facing Timothy Thatcher in an Atlas title #1 contenders match at the New York Progress show next month. Apparently, Wrestling Under the Stars, they've got a show this weekend. I'll briefly mention it, but the big one is the proper Wrestling Under the Stars 4, I think it is, maybe 5 show in August. The big thing about that is the main event is going to be Cody Rhodes defending the title if he's still champ against Jerry the King Lawler. Which is pretty ridiculous. Some of the other names that are expected to be part of the tournament as well that haven't been mentioned: Rachel Ellering, Shayna Baszler, Santana Garrett, Renee Michelle, Barbie Hayden, Nicole Savoy, and I'm guessing Aisha Ray is, that must be Aisha Diamond or whatever it is that we talked about earlier. Now, Sky over here in the UK has made an announcement regarding its sports channels. So WWE's mostly been on Sky 5 with its stuff, but instead this channels will be themed, and it's believed that the wrestling will be going on Sky Sports main event, which of course is an additional upgrade to your subscription. The other programming will all air on Sky Sports Action and Sky Sports Arena, including the primetime replays of both Raw and SmackDown. Because that was needed. Not. WWE 2K18 has been officially confirmed for the Switch this fall. I don't know whether that's going to be as I'd be amazed if it was the next gen version. I guess it could be to some capacity, but I guess we'll have to see. The WWE Network has added some ECW, well, I guess WWECW stuff from the reboot, the failed reboot. So that means officially on the network, you've got that bloody Zombie versus Sandman match. Oh, no. But they've also added on the June 30th, 1973 house show from Madison Square Garden, which featured Pedro Morales defending the WWF title as it was then against Georgie Animal Steel, and also featured Victor Rivera versus Black Gordman in a special match from California. Haystacks Calhoun versus Moondog Maine. Mr. Fuji taking on Chief J Strongbow. Captain Lou Albano versus Gorilla Monsoon and others. Alundra Blaze apparently is going to be helping out with the Mae Young Classic. That seems interesting. Tama Tonga ripped into Jim Ross and Josh Barnett for not knowing who they are. Quoting commentators sucked at the G1 special. At least Kevin Kelly knows the story and our fucking names, further proving that they are the Gorillas of Fuck. Which followed Kenny Omega tweeting that he can't wait to hear Kevin Kelly and Don Callis on New Japan World again, and saying that he appreciates their unbiased opinions. Wow. If the locker room doesn't like Barnett and Jim Ross, I'm sort of wondering how long they're going to last. Also, considering Kevin Kelly's only got that commitment now, I'm wondering whether they're already going to be getting him to replace Jim because of the deal that they've got. Who knows? Simon Gotch, Simon Grimm, his non-compete clause is finished this week, which is why he's wrestling for Shikara in in a month or so. Trent Beretta missed the weekend's action because of an infection in his elbow. And also Topanga was at PWG. I think that's an important thing. I don't know. I've never heard of Topanga. Progress Wrestling sold out the 300 tickets for their Somerville, Massachusetts show within half an hour. That's a good job. And also, Atlantis had a pretty serious injury on the CMLL stuff. So he's obviously off the August Ring of Honor UK tour. So in his place will be Titan in London on the 17th when they're doing the co-show with Rev Pro, and then the 3 Ring of Honor shows themselves in London, Liverpool, and Edinburgh. So then, let me have a quick look, see if there's anything in the daily update from today that's gone up since. Sami Zayn's announced that he's starting a campaign with the Syrian American Medical Society to raise funds for a mobile medical clinic in Syria. It's a nice job. Becky Lynch got into a Twitter exchange with Chris Cyborg because Cyborg said, "If you're smart, Triple H, don't let Becky anywhere near the ring with me. Ireland can't handle another star losing this summer." And Becky responded, "Are you sure Dana would let you, seeing as he doesn't seem to let you do much else?" Boom! Shibata, in a new update, noted his eyesight's improving and that he's able to do some trivial things that he's never focused on before when he was living a normal life. Apparently, wrestling's a normal life. Who knows? Kenny Omega's tweeted, "Show everything that you can still stand in the same ring with me, Ibushi. I'll be waiting." So that better be the final, damn it. Shane Helms had a rant at Jeff Jarrett as well, saying that Jarrett would rather climb a tree to tell a lie than stay on the ground and tell the truth, when Jarrett said that Helms and other agents would let go because they had too many of them. Because that's a thing. According to Dave, tonight's press conference in Toronto for the Mayweather thing actually was good. He insulted Showtime to their vice president's face after believing that they cut his microphone yesterday. He also insulted Mayweather for not being able to read. There was also a pay your taxes chant at Mayweather. And Mayweather apologized to Dana for anything bad he's ever said about him, and that they're the ones with the money instead of Connor. And Showtime had to issue a statement saying they didn't cut his microphone. So they're doing all that smack talk and everything. Also, it's worth noting, wow, the prelims for UFC 213 did the lowest ratings for any pre-pay-per-view show since 2014. So nobody wanted to watch MMA for free. They wanted to pay for it, maybe. Who knows? So, we then get to the results. And that other PWG stuff, which we'll probably leave till the end. So we'll start off with Rev Pro and the British J Cup from London. The first round matches started off with Marty Skull beating Tiger Mask. Jushin Thunder Liger beat Josh Bodom, the cruiserweight champ. Kushida beat Kyle O'Reilly in, I guess, what was Kyle's last indie match. Thinking about it. Unless, of course, WCPW next week. And Will Ospreay beat Ryosuke Taguchi. Then the Tempura Boys beat Josh Wall and Curtis Chapman. CCK retained the tag titles after they won by DQ over Bushi and Hiromi Takahashi. Please tell me the cat was used. Afterwards, LIJ continued to beat the shit out of CCK until Kid Lycos made his Rev Pro debut and made the save. Ishii beat Matt Riddle. The thing to note about this is afterwards, Tiger Hattori, referee / talent scout / William Regal, was very interested in Riddle. So whether he's going to be doing some New Japan stuff in the future, who knows? And then the main event, the British J Cup champion is Jushin Thunder Liger. He beat Kushida, Skull, and Ospreay in the final. So he obviously got his title from his trophy from Marty Jones. But then afterwards, Josh Bodom attacked him, and it was announced that Liger would face him for the title at Summer Sizzler next month. So I approve. Liger could be British Cruiserweight champion. They're treating him with more respect than they did in New Japan. They let him win a tournament, yet alone win a match. My God. So Progress Wrestling, Chapter 51, screaming for progress from Birmingham. We had Mike Haskins beat Mike Bird. Afterwards, Haskins said he was coming for the title. Eddie Dennis beat Ashmore. Jimmy Havoc victorious over Jigsaw. And then Havoc were laid into Haskins and said that he's also going for the belt. Then War Machine beat the London Riots. Walter beat Matt Riddle, so we have a new Progress Atlas champion.
Ah.
Big Daddy Walter and all that. Chief Deputy Dunn beat Flash Morgan Webster. And the main event saw British Strong Style beat CCK in a 6-man tag match with the tag titles on the line. With Travis Banks and Chris Brooks and Kid Lykos losing to Dunn, Seven, and Bate. So, yeah. British Strong Style has all the belts again. Smash Wrestling, I don't have any results for either show. They're probably keeping them quiet because it's going to be on Fight Network soon. So PWX, their iPay-per-view doubleheader with Evolve, they're part of the show. This is how we do it. Had Jason Kincaid beat Tracer X. Timothy Thatcher and John Schuyler went to a time limit draw. Elijah Evans IV, the Boss, and Timmy Lou Retton beat James Drake and the Ugly Ducklings after the Boss hit a spine buster on one of the Ducklings, and then Timmy Lou hit a shooting star press, allowing Evans to get the pinfall. Oh, we have Martin Stone beat Fred G. High over Crossface. Then Anthony Henry beat Ethan Case in a 2 out of 3 falls match. I don't know if it was 2 falls to 0 or 2 falls to 1. All it says is Ethan Case won 2 falls. Which obviously he would have done because it's a 2 out of 3 falls match. I'd have thought that would have made sense. So then we get to CZW's Evolution. We had Connor Claxton beat Ricky Shane Page. The Dub Boys victorious over the Private Party. Tim Donts won the 6-way, also featuring Ace Austin Shakespeare, Alexander James, Anthony Bennett, Devon Moore, and Kit Osborne. Masada and the Storm of Entrails of Schlack and Dan O'Hare beat the Awakening of G-Rave, Matt Tremont, and Stockade. Maxwell Jacob Freeman beat Trevor Lee to retain the Wired title. Ace Romero beat AR Fox. Then Tornado 6-man tag, Scarlett and Graves and Trey Miguel beat OI4K. So the students beat the teachers. And then the main thing, holy shit, it actually happened, as I predicted. Shane Strickland is now not only Wrestle Circus Ringmaster champ, but he's also Defy champion and CZW World champion. He's getting all the gold, sucker. Oh, Hogan, wait, no. It's worth noting afterwards, Leo Rush said he'd be having his last match for CZW in August. And clearly this is where people realized, oh shit, he's going to the E. But then he was interrupted by a video package with DJ Hyde on the phone saying, JJ, we need you back. So for one night only, I guess because it's Leo Rush's farewell, Leo Rush goes one-on-one one last time with Joey Janela at the show in August, on August the 12th. That should be pretty awesome. So now we've got the Shikara doubleheader from Gibsonville, North Carolina, starting off with the afternoon show, Parting of the Ways. We had Race Jackson beat Officer Bruno Maloney. Oleg and Kobold beat Cyborg 2000. Hallowicked beat Officer Warren Barksdale. Icarus pinned Jeremy Leary with the Blu-ray. It was supposed to be Angela Setti rather than Leary, but what happened there? Murloc, Hermit Crab, and the Cajun Crawdad beat the Furies of the Sea Stars and Obarian. The thing to note about this is Crab and the Crawdad had issues during the match, so it basically left Murloc to fight 3-on-1, and he still won, so that's a bit crazy. And Juan Francisco retained the grand title over Missile Assault Man because he passed out in the Coronado clutch. However, it is worth noting that Missile did make Coronado tap out to the sharpshooter when the referee did get knocked out, so it may have changed if somebody hadn't been attacked and all that. The evening show, The Lodger, opened with the Whisper beating Duke Joint Lucas Calhoun, so he's on 3 points. That's worth noting because it gets complicated. Des Peloton beat the Sandwich Squad. The Sandwich Squad replaced the Closers because Rick Glowland got injured, so he's going to be out for a bit. Sloan Caprice then took on Dustin because apparently Warney was missing. Oh, he's missing people. Holy shit. Hermit Crab retained the Young Lions Cup over Frightmare. Fire Ant beat Frightmare over Hermit Crab beat Cajun Crawdad, sorry. Fire Ant beat Frightmare in the last man standing match, so got some revenge. And then for the Campeonato de Parejas, holy crap, new champs, Solo Darling and Travis Huckabee beat Sonny Defarge and Cornelius Cromwells to become the brand new champions. Except it wasn't over. Because Los Ice Creams came out. Because by winning the Golden Opportunity match, or the Challenge of the Immortals, 18 months ago? They both got one token each, and they used the one with all that controversial stuff, which obviously got messed up because the titles were won by Mustache Mountain, and then they had to drop them because WWE came in. So they cashed in the second Golden Opportunity. And holy shit, they won for real. Yes! Los Ice Creams, the Campeonatos de Parejas. Yes! Yes! Do the thing with the arms. Stop. No, stop. Stop. No, don't stop. And then in the encore, Razorhawk beat Mr. Azerbaijan. Beautiful. So, yeah, quite a big stuff happened in Chikara as we build closer and closer to the big August show, because that'll be the last, from what I can tell, that'll be the last show Chikara is doing before the UK trip for King of Trios. And then they don't currently have listed another show until like the end of October, so going crazy. Then we come to Shimmer, the 3-day weekend. So we'll start with the Rise show. We had Sierra beat Lani Luck with a roll-up. Dementia DeRose beat Dynamite DD with running hip attack. Asia Pereira beat Stephanie Sinclair with a modified flatliner. Deonna Purrazzo victorious over cheerleader Melissa with a roll-up. Kiko beat Jules Malone. Hudson Envy victorious over Savannah Evans. Soraya Knight beats Stacey Shadows quickly with a low blow. Rosemary beat Delilah Doom. Fire and Nice Britt Baker and Chelsea Green beat Jessica Troy and Charlie Evans. And then Shotzi Blackheart beat Angel Dust in a dog collar match to retain the Phoenix of Rise title. And then afterwards, both Angel Dust and Rosemary attacked Blackheart. So, there you go. So then we get to the Shimmer shows. We start off with 92. Dynamite DD beat Stephanie Sinclair via roll-up, and Kiko beat Asia Pereira in the Rise showcase matches. So the show itself opened with Madison Eagle saying that she spent the last year recovering from an ACL injury and wants Mercedes Martinez in a title shot right now. And Mercedes says, look, you don't make the demands. I've got better things to do than take on a has-been. And the trifecta attacks until Shazza McKenzie comes to make the save, and Mercedes takes verbal shots at Danger, Melissa, and Saraya Knight. Then Saraya comes out to even the score, and Allison Danger makes the main event a 6-woman tag, where if Mercedes or Nicole Savoy lose, they lose the belts, and if trifecta win, they get a tag title shot. So the matches themselves, Thunder Kitty beat Charlie Evans via STO. Sienna then beat Samantha Heights with a Sunset Driver. Then Kevin brought out Vader Scott and asked for some mic time and wanted to thank Madison Rayne for coming back just to fall. So the challenged her to a match and said, "Nah, not I accept, but not now. Later, probably, eventually." So Madison Rayne beats Taylor Hendricks. Then Chili Melissa victorious over Savannah Evans. Shotzi Blackheart retained the Phoenix of Rise title over Hudson Envy. Then Cat Power, the 3-woman team, bit Nicole Matthews, Delilah Doom, and Leva Bates as Richard Simmons. Fire and Ice beat Paradise Lost of Rosemary and Angel Dust. Deonna Purrazzo beat Cherry Bomb. Lufisto victorious over Casey Spinelli. Tessa Blanchard and Vanessa Craven victorious over Kaylee Ray and Mia Yim to retain the tag belts. And then Madison Eagle, Shazza McKenzie, and Saraya Knight beat Mercedes Martinez, Nicole Savoy, and Basler when Saraya Knight pinned Mercedes with a roll-up. So, hang on, I'm trying to remember. If Mercedes or Nicole Savoy lose, they lose the titles. So if Saraya Knight pinned her, does that mean Saraya Knight is champion? Thinking about it. Who knows? So then Volume 93 opens with Vader Scott beating Madison Rayne. Oh, they actually did do it the next show. Then Lufisto attacked Thunder Kitty, said that she's been tired of being forgotten by Shimmer management. Then the team of Delilah Doom and Leva Bates, this time as Olivia Newton-John from the Let's Get Physical music video, beat Jessica Troy and Charlie Evans. Nicole Matthews beat Samantha Heights. Hudson Envy victorious over Deonna Purrazzo. Shotzi Blackheart defeated cheerleader Melissa. Rosemary victorious over Britt Baker. Madison Eagles beat Shayna Baszler. Mia Kim beat Kaylee Ray to become #1 contender to the Shimmer belt. Vanessa Craven and Tessa Blanchard beat Havoc and Nevaeh to retain the tag belts. Shazza McKenzie beat Nicole Savoy to become the new Heart of Shimmer champion. So we got a title change there. Mercedes Martinez beat Saraya Knight to retain the Shimmer title. So I guess worth noting, cheerleader Melissa is that low on the card. That's what happens when you become Mariposa, you dumb bitch. Just like Raisha Saeed, you're getting buried. So the following day, we had 94 and 95. 94 opened with a couple of Rise Showcase matches, with Aya Pereira beating Lainey Luck and Stephanie Sinclair beating Jules Malone. The show itself opened with Jessica Havoc beating Kiko. Chili Melissa victorious over Samantha Heights. Cherry Bomb beat Angel Dust, Kaylee Ray, and Taylor Hendricks in a 4-way. Madison Rayne beat Vader Scott. I guess they did it again. Sienna beat Dynamite Dee. Then Lufisto defeated Shotzi Blackheart. Her original opponent was supposed to be Thunder Kitty, but apparently she wasn't cleared to compete. And then after the match, Lufisto attacked Thunder Kitty again, ripping off the neck brace, and then Solo Darling came out for the save, chasing Lufisto off. Nicole Matthews beat Donna Purrazzo with the Vancouver Maneuver. Fire and Nice of Baker and Green beat Blanchard and Craven via DQ because Blanchard and Craven decided to use a screwdriver. What? Shayna Baszler beat Casey Spinelli. Madison Eagles victorious over Nicole Savoy. Shazza McKenzie beat Rosemary to retain the Heart of Shimmer title, and then Mercedes Martinez beat Mia Yim to retain the Shimmer belt. So then we get to 95. Shotzi Blackheart beat Vader Scott. Samantha Hype beat Jessica Troy. Chidi and Melissa victorious over Casey Spinelli. Jessica Havoc beat Charlie Evans. Solo Darling defeated Lufisto by DQ. When Lufisto cut Solo Darling's tail off. My God. Hudson Envy beat Mia Yim. Saraya Knight victorious over Cat Power by Rocking Horse submission. Nicole Savoy beat Doniana Perazzo. Then Blanchard and Craven retained the tag belts, beating Rosemary and Angel Dust, Britt Baker and Chelsea Green, and Delilah doing Leva Bates. Leva this time dressed as Heihachi Mishima from Tekken. What? Shazza McKenzie then beat Nicole Matthews to retain the Heart of Shimmer title, and Mercedes Martinez beat Madison Eagles to retain the Shimmer title, but was helped by the fact that Nicole Savoy did heat Madison Eagles with a chain. So there you go. And most of them are now going to WWE. We'll find out in about 24 hours. So the Evolve shows. We had Jason Kincaid beat Caleb Conley. ACH and Austin Theory never started, which became Austin Theory versus Ethan Case, which Austin won. Keith Lee beat Ethan Page. Tracy Williams beat Darby Allin. Fred Yehi victorious over ACH. Then, holy shit, new tag champs. Chris Dickinson and Yaka dropped the belts to Anthony Henry and James Drake, so congrats to those guys. And then Zack Sabre Jr. beat Timothy Thatcher to retain the Evolve title in the No Holds Barred match. Then with 89 on the Sunday, Timothy Thatcher beat Darby Allin. ACH beat Ethan Page. Jason Kincaid victorious over John Davis. Tracy Williams and Keith Lee went to a no contest. Basically, they knocked down the referee, and the entire locker room had to basically separate the two to calm them down. So then we had the tag titles on the line, and the workhorses of Henry and Drake retained against Catchpoint of Dickinson and Yaka, as well as Lance Lude and Rob Killjoy of the Ugly Ducklings. Austin Theory beat Trent Beretta, so I guess he was okay for that one. The infection was only for the Saturday show. And Zack Sabre Jr. retained the title against Fred Yehi with a bridging pinning combo. And then we come to PWG. Back. Due to travel issues, Shane Strickland and Jason Cade weren't at the show, so that made it even more complicated. So Sammy Guevara beat Ray Horus off a 6:30 senton. The Unbreakable Fucking Machines beat the Young Bucks when Elgin pinned Matt with the Elgin Bomb. Well, interestingly, the crowd weren't happy with the finish, and the Bucks were true baby faces on this one. Keith Lee beat Leo Rush and Trent in the triple threat with an attitude adjustment into a slam. Then Desmond Xavier beat Jake, Chris, Dave, Chris, and Sammy Callahan in the four-way, as it became, with a spiral tap. So, student beating all three teachers. Ricochet beat Trevor Lee with a Benadryller, and then PWG World Title match. Oh my God. So the big thing here was Sabre was trying to do all he could to get DQ'd, and Rick Knox was like, I'm not DQing you. Took off the bottom rope to try and do some chokes, used tacks. Chuck hit at the awful waffle. 1, 2, 3. Holy fucking shit. Chuck Taylor is PWG World Champion. Holy shit. I marked out for that at like 7 in the morning over here. I think I was causing a bit too much noise for the neighbors. Long overdue, wouldn't you say, Owen? Owen's dead.
It's about time, honestly. I think it's been a good story, given the fact that it's always been in the back of everybody's mind in PWG that Chuck Taylor was going to win the championship down the line. And when it finally happened, the place just exploded.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't put the footage up yet. They've only just put up the footage from Man on the Silver Mountain, the last show. That looks already great. So I can't wait for the video package of this to show up in the next few weeks, hopefully. So I guess because we talked about PWG, let's talk about how there's going to be some guys that are going to be fucking made.
Bola!
Yes, there's going to be some guys that are going to be made. Because it's your usual list of your big names and your names that have been there before, but there is a fair few that never have. So, the order of announcements. We've got, we've said all of some of these before, but screw it, we're going through them all. We've got Flamita, which I think is debut. Keith Lee, Walter, I think debut. Travis Banks, first time back in quite a while. Ray Phoenix, Desmond Xavier, Donovan Dijak, I think debut. I don't know whether anybody can get on Cage Match and see what matches Dijak's been in, if any. Jeff Cobb, Trevor Lee, definitely a debut for Flash Morgan Webster. So we know he isn't going to be part of King of Trios, which is a shame. Zack Sabre Jr., Sammy Guevara, Mark Haskins, the debuting Jonah Rock from Australia. So that could certainly be a chance for him to make a big name for himself. Brian Cage, Ray Horus, Marty Skull, Michael Elgin, also debuting with his Antipodean partner, TK Cooper. Him and Travis Banks are normally together in some capacity. I think it was the Kiwi connection from what I remember. They're both New Zealanders, I think. Matt Sydal, Sammy Callahan, Matt Riddle. Is that a PWG debut, I think? Or has he wrestled there before? I should know that. And then finally, Ricochet and Penta. The matches, I'm guessing, will be revealed within the next month. I don't know when. I'm just going to quickly see if they've put anything up on the Twitter or not. No. Have they said when tickets go on sale? Let's have a look through the list.
No.
No.
Not yet.
I'm guessing it's obviously going to be soon, though.
Very soon.
Realistically. I'm trying to see if that is Riddle's debut. No. Oh, no, it can't be Riddle's debut because he was part of the Chosen Bros. He's been there before. Certainly Riddle's bowler debut. And again, he's on the level, but I don't think he, I don't know how toked up he is that he really cares. But yeah, I mean, the annoying thing to me is that means all those 24 guys can't be at King of Trios. I'm sort of guessing Chuck Taylor will also be part of that event, considering he's reigning champion. I would think. I mean, he may not be, because, of course, whoever wins it basically has the right to challenge the champion, whoever it may be. So we shall see. Another assorted noises. So, coming up this weekend, there is a Wrestling Under the Stars tour event for Northeast Wrestling happening at the Joseph L. Bruno Stadium in Troy, New York. With two big matches on it. Cody defending the Northeast Wrestling title against Jack Swagger. and Tessa Blanchard taking on Brandy Rhodes. I think there's other matches. I believe there's a show on Friday in which Anthony Henry's returning to Northeast Wrestling, so I guess he was away for a bit. There's various other things. We may go through the results next week. If anything major goes down, probably with Cody or bloody Jerry the King Lawler, who knows. CWF Mid-Atlantic's Opportunity Knox happening this Saturday. The Mid-Atlantic Sportatorium in Gibsonville, North Carolina, where Shikara was this past week. So yeah, it's worth noting that 8 of the 16 spots in the tournament this year have been granted to national and international prospects in the worldwide bracket. So it'll be the first round matches will be happening this Saturday. Then July 29th, it'll be the Mid-Atlantic bracket. And then August the 12th, it's the quarterfinals. And then the semi-finals and the finals will be part of finals night on August 26th. So basically, there's shows every 2 weeks between now and the end of August. So from the worldwide bracket for the first round, we've got Lucas Calhoun taking on the Aussie Mick Moretti. Aaron Epic with the Midnight Mermaid faces Matt Nix, the founder of Freelance Wrestling. Logan Easton LaRue takes on Utamaro from Wrestle One. And Alex Daniels versus Stevie Fierce. Also on the card, we've got an 8-man tag bout with Zane and Dave Dawson, Eric Andrews and Kane Justice versus Dirty Daddy, Snooty Fox, Smith Garrett, Jet Sterling. If any champion loses, the challenger earns an immediate title shot right then and there. The same, because it's an Opportunity Knox match, the same goes for the Ultra J Contenders Fatal 4-Way. Because the winner earns a future Ultra J title shot, and that'll be Tracer X, Garrison King from Rob Matter. And in a women's match, the Midnight Mermaid Aspen Rose will be taking on Jessica Troy. Also set to be part of the show, but not listed in a capacity yet. Joshua Cutshall, Darius Lockhart, Ethan Alexander Sharp, Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham, PB Smooth, Colby Rudd, the Proletariat Boar Moldova, the Freshest Prince Percy Davis and Frankie Flynn, and also from the Storm Wrestling Academy, AC Hawks will be part of the show. Smash Wrestling has the Love Life Love Wrestling show. This one was also being filmed for the Fight Network. On here, we've got Tabernacle Team taking on Fight or Flight. Braxton Sutter, Sebastian Suave, and Tarek facing Mike Rollins, Greed, and Kevin Blackwood. Evil Uno 1-on-1 with Trent Banks. Matt Cross takes on Scotty O'Shea. Kevin Bennett versus Jay White. Kaito Kiyomiya from Pro Wrestling Noah takes on Stu Grayson. And Tyson Dukes defends the Smash Wrestling title against Colt Cabana. That's at the Phoenix Concert Theatre in Toronto, Ontario. I think some tickets are still available, from what I remember. Evolve have got their stuff on this weekend as well. Pride from the Gulfview Event Center on US Highway 19 in Port Richey in Florida. The only 2 matches that seem to be confirmed at the minute are the Lacey twins of Gabe and Grayson Lacey defending against the State Line of Eddie Torres and Damian Angel, along with Sideshow defending the combat title against Teddy Stigma. Those are the only ones that I know of so far. Shikara this Friday has got their annual baseball game match from the First Energy Stadium. As it stands, because they only normally do 4 matches, because obviously it's after the baseball, so there's only so many you can do. It's going to be Razorhawk taking on the Proletariat Boar of Moldova. Missile Assault Man versus Murloc. Los Ice Creams take on Defarge and Crummels. So it's the new champs versus the former champs. No titles on the line, of course, because obviously Defarge and Crummels need to build up the points. But Of course, if Defarge and Crumbles do get the win, perhaps they may be wanting a title shot back somewhere down the line. And then Dasher Hatfield in the main event takes on the Whisper, who already has 3 points. So the Whisper's risking the 3 points that you could use for a title shot against Dasher Hatfield. So we shall see. And then we come to Shine. So they've got 2 shows, one Friday and one Sunday. Despite all that, and the fact it's on Flow Slam, this tournament, with full respect to everybody, looks a bit shit. You can sort of tell that there's another tournament happening with Mae Young involved in some other place in Florida. Shall we say, Owen? So the brackets go on the left side. Veda Scott versus Priscilla Kelly. Leah Vaughn versus ACR. Aya Pereira taking on Stormy Lee and Kira Hogan versus Shotzi Blackheart. And then on the right side of the bracket, the Rosa Negra versus Jordan Grace. Araya Blake taking on Dynamite Dee. Candy Cartwright versus Robin Reed, and Eva Lee's taking on Holly Dead. The winners of that, because this is a tournament for the Shine Nova title, from what I remember, which is like the secondary title in the company. Shine 44 is on Sunday, again at Ybor City, Florida. That'll be featuring the quarters, semis, and the finals, from what I remember. There was something regarding Sienna and Lufisto as well. So I'm guessing that will be happening. They've been having a war of words on social media and on the Shine YouTube videos against each other. So I guess check that out. AAW's United We Stand happens this Saturday as well at 115 Bourbon Street in Marionette Park, Illinois. Tickets range from $20 to $50. I think there's a few still available, but not too many. Colt Cabana, Jeff Cobb, Trey Miguel, Stephen Wolf, and Davey Vega are all set to be in some sort of match, but not confirmed what. The only matches that are confirmed, John Morrison versus Chuck Taylor. Penta and Shane Strickland taking on Trevor Lee and Garza Jr. Matt Riddle facing Matt Fitchett. OI4K face the War Machine. ACH versus Myron Reed. Samantha Heights versus Scarlett Bordeaux. It'll be Eddie Kingston and David Starr in an I Quit match. And then your title matches, AR Fox and Ray Phoenix defend against Zachary Wentz and Desmond Xavier. And Sami Callihan puts the heavyweight title on the line against Keith Lee. And that is your lot. Again, about 3 hours. This is going pretty well.
Yeah, for the most part. So I believe that's our show.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, back at it again. Not with the white mans.
G1.
Sorry,
G1.
G1 time.
Just keep saying G1. Yeah.
Constantly.
Well,
so
because it's by Monday, because it's Monday, you'll probably be able to catch the good matches by Wednesday. That's the positive thing.
Hopefully. Love to watch it live, but
shows are like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So, well, yeah, don't watch it live. If you've got work, don't.
I got to be up at 5:15, so I don't think I could do it.
No.
So next week, back here for the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast at 9 p.m. And tomorrow, Sip and Snack returns. Friday and Saturday, AJ takes the weekend. And Sunday and Monday, Ashley takes the opening of the week.
Yep.
Wrestling is on Tuesday and Wednesday. And we're building to another WWE pay-per-view coming up with Battleground.
Yeah.
Goody gumdrops.
No, I don't think we've got anything until Slammiversary, I'd argue.
Slammiversary?
SummerSlam. Sorry, they're both the same. They're both in the summer.
Destination X.
They're normally both shit. Yeah, but that's an Impact special rather than a
That is an Impact special, yes.
pay-per-view. So
that's your show. Ashley, where can we find you on social media?
you find me on Twitter at AshIsMyNameUK.
Right. Follow us at Popcast Network on Twitter. Follow me at Suro and Disney. And check out our Facebook fan page at Popcast Network. As always, in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, we're very pleased that once more tonight you have chosen the Popcast. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. If you're able to, go buy Bullet Club merchandise at Hot Topic. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Oh, Connor and Floyd, you better not let us down. You better tell us where I can watch it. And hopefully I can watch it legally. Otherwise, I'm pirating the shit out of you bastards. Whoa!